are now listening to Human Beings.
We're live.
Hey, episode 13. I'm about to stop remembering when I say it right off rip now.
Right?
It's like, oh, double digits. Yeah, we hot now, boy. We got our boy Jalon in the house today, bro.
What's up? What's
up? Thank you for coming through, bro. We appreciate it.
It's been a while since I've seen you, man.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks for having me. Happy
Definitely.
to be here.
For sure, bro. It worked out well this week because I told you earlier we were going to do a solo episode.
Yeah.
Literally, I had hit up Eric to golf, and then he told me he was like iffy about it. And 20 minutes later, he hit me up like, yo, my bike's in the shop. You golfing this weekend? I was like, oh, shit. And that's when I had to hit you up.
You haven't even golfed in a while.
No, I haven't golfed in over a month. So that's why it was good out there, boy. Oh, man.
How'd he do?
He did amazing, bro. For his first time, I've never seen anyone play. I mean, granted, I haven't seen that many first timers, but he was hitting them straight.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, they weren't like launching, but they were, even if they did catch, it was like a line drive, but it was going straight.
Yeah. And you were saying you felt like it was it was a lot better than you thought.
It was easier than what I thought it should have been, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it seemed like it should have been this impossible task, but I don't know. It's
possible.
Yeah, it's very possible. And like you said, we was on shorter courses.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of a beginner, like community type course, just get out there, get your reps in type thing.
So that course is smaller than Harmony's course?
Oh, yeah. Way smaller.
Yeah.
Like, you know, at Harmony, a lot of them were like driver shots every time.
Yeah,
this one was like, there's most of them, you're probably not playing a driver off the rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
But I can see if I went to a bigger course, I probably wouldn't be saying the same thing I'd be saying.
Nah. That was his first experience with a big course.
Oh,
But
really?
it was the one, he lives in a golf course.
Well, I wasn't even playing. I was just there for the ride.
Yeah.
In the golf cart.
Get the golf cars.
Because
the
I lived in
video.
the community, so.
Yeah.
But, so you guys know each other from the Air Force, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And how long were you in there?
8 years.
8 years?
Yep.
Damn. You were in there
5.
5?
Yeah.
You got out
5.
early, right?
Yeah, so
You're
I
like,
signed up for
fuck
6
this.
and I dipped at 5. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I had another year and I was like, I don't know if I could do it. And then I applied for early release, which is like you have like a list of reasons you could apply for early release.
Yeah.
Mine was education. So I was like, if I'm gonna try something, I might as well. So I was like, this last year, I'm just trying to get the hell out of here. So I applied, and like 4 weeks later, they let me know. In 4 weeks, they let me know I was approved and that I would be done in 4 weeks. So it was like right when I found out, it was like, yo, I'm out in a month, and I've never felt better than that moment right there where I was like, I'm free.
That's dope.
He ended up moving to Pompano Beach after, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you went to Tampa right after?
Nah.
No?
Right after separating?
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved to Tampa. Yeah. I spent like 2 months in Alabama, where I'm from, and then moved down to Tampa.
Oh, okay.
First day moving to Florida, like literally driving to Florida, I stopped by his house and we took the jet ski out.
Hell yeah.
I was like, I love Florida. I'm here.
That was when I had the jet ski.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Bro,
imagine.
he would have loved that jet ski ride on the Kissimmee chain of
hell
lakes.
yeah.
I know.
Oh,
I seen the video. Oh,
Bro, he would have
y'all
really
getting
loved
We
stuck
gotta
in the
go
middle.
again.
When y'all
Oh.
got stuck and had
Yeah.
bro, he saw when he splashed a dude on the boat.
Oh man, yeah. That story, everyone was confused. So we're going in through this canal, right? We're jet skiing through the canal. There's 4 of us. And there's a guy on a boat there, and you're not really supposed to go fast through there. So for some reason,
You're supposed to go actually very slow.
Yeah. So the guy puts his hands up to kind of be like, yo, slow down.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, in his brain, it registers as we all want to get splashed.
Which
And
now sounds totally
And then he
ridiculous.
goes and splashes them, and all of us, our mouths are open like, what the hell is Philby doing? Like
That was bad.
And
bro.
I was like, yeah, I'm out. No, and the worst part was that his girl falls
had to
off
go back
of the
and
jet
get her.
ski right when he splashes them, and she's like right in front of the boat.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, what the like going off on him.
He's going off, like cursing, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Da da da. And I'm turning around because I didn't even notice immediately that she fell off.
Yeah.
I noticed. It's funny because I could just imagine Jessica listening to this and just getting pissed just hearing it.
Yeah.
The most traumatizing event.
Yeah.
Like, because before we went, she was already scared about gators. and shit. You already know. So I was like, oh, definitely not gonna have to worry about gators. And then we go down this canal where it looks like if you're gonna see gators, that's where you think you would see them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I look back, I'm like, damn, it feels kind of light. And I turn around, I see nobody
Scum of the
there,
earth.
and then I look back further, and I just see this little head floating, and I was just instant like, damn. And then I had to roll back there, like, and then see the people I just splashed that I now know did not want me to splash them. And because as soon as I did it, I knew that was when something wrong. I was like, oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. And now that I say it out loud, it sounds like the dumbest possible thing you could imagine.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it was just like, this is clearly what they want to happen right now.
You remember the picture we took at that bar restaurant place?
Yeah.
I used that picture all over my Tinder and Hinge and stuff. Yo,
that's funny because I was gonna say I couldn't.
It's getting people to swipe right. It's getting girls to swipe right.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't imagine a better welcome to Florida than the first day you move in. You're driving into Florida. First day you stop, the first thing you do is go jet ski.
Oh yeah,
Literally
that'll definitely sell you.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I made the right move.
For sure.
Mind you, this is 3 years after I had already been out. Because I was living down in Pompano. He was still in for another 4 years.
Yeah.
And then that's when we came here. And then that's when he came and we had a blast out there, bro. Yeah. And I miss having a jet ski, but because of the kids, I need to get a boat now. So that's what I'm working on.
But a funny story about that jet ski journey though. While we're going back, because it was like a 6-hour, 7-hour journey, like 3.5 hours there, 3.5 hours back. We went all the way starting from Kissimmee Lakefront all the way to Westgate River Ranch and came back. And the last 20 minutes, it just started raining. And then my jet ski gets seaweed stuck into it. And something was wrong with the steering. And their jet skis were faster than mine. Mine was like maxed out at like 55, maybe 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm in the back and I fly off my jet ski. I'm in the middle of the lake. And this is already like after 5 where all the boats are already gone.
Let me just cut in because I'm trying to set the scene. Imagine like you're on a body of water and you just see the darkest, gloomy clouds coming over. And in the clouds, you see lightning flashes.
See, that was kind of happening to us. We seen the storm try to come in.
But this one is like, it's here and on you. And then I turned around, right, where he...
Well, no, it took him a while to notice that I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was already tired from the jet ski ride. My legs started cramping up already, and the jet ski is still going, floating away.
Ghost ride.
I'm in the middle of Kissimmee Lakefront, which is obviously infested with gators, and I'm just swimming as fast as I can, trying to get to the jet ski. And as soon as I got there, I just laid back on it, and I'm just like, oh my god, thank God, I got my legs still. And then I'm like looking around, seeing if there's any gators swimming and stuff. And then he comes back, and then my jet ski wasn't moving, and then he's like, you gotta jump in.
Out. Yeah.
You gotta jump in. Our GoPro stopped recording at that moment.
Yeah.
Mine didn't. I got footage of you, telling you jump in, and you're just like,
yeah. Because then I was,
and I'm telling him, and you see me like, bro, you can hear me. You gotta jump in.
That was the
There's
first.
nothing you can
that
do.
was his first manly moment that he was manlier than me, and I was just like, damn, I can't look like a bitch.
He was like, you gotta do it like this.
No, this is why he says that. Because he was probably like 30 yards away, because we're in the water 30 yards away. And I'm like, you got to jump in. And he didn't want to do it. So I just jump in the water and I swim to him and I got to rescue him and shit.
Yeah.
And then I get there and he's just sitting on there like, thank you.
First line, hell no.
And I'm like, and then I get there and I'm like, you got to pull the seaweed out. And I go under and I'm pulling all this seaweed out and I'm like, start it, go. And then he takes off and then I got to swim another 20 yards back.
You're making him seem like a freaking G.I. Joe right now.
Check this out. So I'm swimming back and there's a bunch of seaweed, bro. Like it's like you feel it grabbing your legs when you're swimming in there. So I get to my jet ski and I pull myself up. I lose a water shoe.
Oh,
this guy's flying.
R.I.P.
I'm just like, I'm glad he made it, man. And then we get back and he's just like, yo, thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, so the real story is
that was the real story.
That was an exaggerated story, but kind of what happened. But then I ended up having to jump out 2 more times after that because it kept getting clogged.
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, if he did it, I have to do it.
Yeah. That's great. How do the lakes connect?
Canals. Those canals.
A canal?
That's why we were going through one, is because there's like, think of a bunch, they call it a Kissimmee chain of lakes. Think of a bunch of lakes with just canals that attach them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like you can't see the other side of the lake, but if you ride out there and you get there, there's a big wall and you get to the wall and it's a big door. And they like open the door, you roll in, and then they change the elevation of the water. So you get in there, they close the door, then they either pump it up with water or drain it down to match the other side. And then they open it up, and then you go through the canal.
Damn, that's kind of cool.
We got that's all on video.
Our thing is we were trying to get to this section where it was infested with gators, because once you get to a certain point, then the river becomes narrower. And then you can see videos. There's videos of like some guys that we were watching called Florida Jet Ski Riders, and these guys are jet skiing all the time. And You see their videos, bro. I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of gators. Like sometimes there were videos they have to ride on top of them.
Wow.
Like
Some
that's
of them.
that
Some
some
Wow.
of them. Some of them.
All right.
Nah,
I
it's
gotta
like
check that
every
out.
time.
Not every time, but
Yeah.
like
Let's go
Sometimes.
gator riding. Like, nah, it's just wild though. Like if you don't want to fall off, like
Of
you're not
course.
trying to mess around over there.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy.
It's more it's more marshy.
Mhm.
Like kind of like Evergladesy. When you
Oh,
get down deep in there, it
oh,
gets
okay.
like there's water paths,
Mhm.
but everywhere around you it's a bunch of the
Oh,
marsh.
like the what was the gator hunting show in Louisiana? Swamp People.
yeah. It was kind of
yeah.
like that. Yeah. When
Yeah.
you get deep past the
Got
lakes.
you. Yeah.
That was a dope trip though, bro. Now, so I got him into motorcycles.
oh,
Yeah.
he's the one who got you into
He's
it?
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah.
I already knew. Like my cousins like had bikes and stuff. My dad rode me on his bike, so I always liked bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted one, but he was the one who's like, "Yo, I'm finna get a new bike. You got to get a bike."
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I got a bike.
4 years later, I
What-
still ain't got a bike. no.
What bike did you get?
A Gixxer 600.
Okay, you still have it?
Nah,
Okay.
so I had that and I got that when I was 21, so 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2019, I sold that and I got a 2019 ZX10. That thing was so sweet.
That was crazy.
So
I
sweet.
rode that because I picked up your first bike with you in my truck.
Yeah.
That was in Norfolk in Virginia. It's funny because at that time, this was after not when I had my first bike. You remember my R6, the yellow one?
Yeah.
It was after I already got rid of that one, and a couple years later that I was gonna buy another one. And then that's when he would come over, we'd be chilling, and I'd be like, "Yo, you gotta get one too, bro!" Like hyping him up. And then I forgot to shut that off, but hyping him up.
Is it just a switch?
Yeah, should I just do it?
Yeah. No, Jeremy got it.
You got to go in the other door. You got to go in there, and you'll see a red light. Just hit that switch. Fucked it up. I meant to do that. We just wait for him to turn it off. He's not gonna be able to open the other one.
For real?
Nah, he should.
I did put a mop in there. Blocking the door.
Fuck. He's like, they're counting on me. The show depends on it. Come on, Jeremy.
I got faith in him.
I don't know. It's
You
been
got
Four.
this.
3, 2, 1. Hit the button.
You should probably just
He
go.
didn't go? He came out?
No, he's still there.
Should I do it?
Yeah, just go.
I'm gonna get up and then he's gonna be there.
Yeah. Just go, man. Just go. But okay.
All right, cool.
But yeah, finish what you were
Good luck,
saying.
Jeremy. My bad. But what was I saying?
The R6.
Oh yeah. So this was after I had the first bike, and I was gonna get another one. And he would come over, we'd be chilling. And I'd be like, "Yo, you gotta get one. You gotta get one." So like he said, like 2 weeks later, he was like, "I found the one for me. Got a good deal." I helped him pick it up, and then for whatever reason at that time, I didn't end up getting another one. I think it was because I was about to get out. Like I was like a few months away from getting out.
Yeah, something
or
like
something,
that.
or
It was
something like
coming
that.
up, yeah.
And then by the time I got out, I ended up getting busy with all this other shit that I never got one
Yeah.
until I moved to, I think Ocala as when I got my next bike.
I seen you doing like motocross stuff right now, right?
Yeah.
Bro, I've been wanting to do that so bad.
Bro.
Where are you doing it at in Tampa?
Bro, I do it in Tampa. I do it Ocala. Ocala has a place called Hard Rock. It has a cool place. It's a place like 20 minutes away from my house that I never go to. But it's Tampa MX. I started out riding trails in Croom. Hit Days City sometimes. Spider MX sometimes. It's a few places. Orlando MX has a track. Yeah, it's a
Damn.
few places
I
around.
gotta go with you, man.
Yeah, bro, come on out. Next time I
you
go to
still
Orlando.
you still have more than one bike?
No, I only got one bike
Ah,
right now.
dang.
Last year, I went through 4 different bikes.
Oh, yeah?
4 different dirt bikes. That was crazy. When I look back on it, it was crazy.
I seen you post a video talking about how you thought that you had you got off the ground high.
Well, it was my boy. So what
Okay.
it was is my boy. He felt like he flat landed it, but like on video it doesn't look as bad because that was like a big triple he sent.
Yeah.
And like he just landed.
What does
flat.
that mean? Big triple he sent. That's that moto lingo. Big triple he sent. What that mean?
So a triple has 3 jumps incorporated. The first one you take off, and then you skip one, and then you land on the third.
Got
So
you. So
that's
you're
a
really
triple.
jumping over one hill.
Yeah.
And onto the other. hill.
Exactly. But let's say you take away that last one and you just jump from the first to the second one. That's a double.
Right.
So 2 jumps included. That's how I think about it.
Because you're jumping twice off the other one, off the last one.
It's because in my mind, it's because it's two
hills,
humps,
two humps. So you got
included.
two jumps.
I got you. So it's one jump.
Sounds cheating,
but
but
it's two lumps, two hills.
How was your first time landing one of those jumps?
Oh, I felt amazing.
Did it take you? So like you the first time going, you didn't get over one. Like you couldn't get it in the first jump.
My first day on the track, absolutely not. Absolutely.
Did you
not.
even try?
In my head, yeah.
But for real, not.
But no, you got to commit because you got to go faster than what you think.
Yeah.
Like my first,
You've gotten pretty high?
I've gotten pretty high.
Yeah.
I've gotten, because some of them, like you jump and you land up. You know what I'm saying? So like you jump right here, but you're landing up here.
Yeah.
So you got to jump up and land, and like you jump super high, but the landing is nothing because you're jumping up to the ground. You know what I'm saying? But you also got some where you jump from up here and you land down here. So
those are the ones that got
those get crazy.
Have you ever crashed or anything like that, or fell off?
Yeah, but the jump.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Crash.
Like
I don't know.
Cased or something, like what do you mean, like crash, like from a landing, like crash from a jump.
Yeah.
I have, but the jumps wasn't that bad. They wasn't that tall, and it was coming out of a corner, so I wasn't going that fast. And like basically, what happened, I came off, and my back wheel kind of lost traction, and instead of like clinching with the bike like you're supposed to, I just kind of figured it was over. Then my back wheel hit the top of the next one.
It's like, fuck it.
It really wasn't over. Like when I seen the video, it really is not over because like your back wheel can go all kind of ways more than you think. But it landed at the top of the jump, and so when I came to the ground, it kind of swapped the other way, and then I just bailed and fell. But it wasn't that bad. Yeah,
we went mountain biking in Virginia.
Yeah,
and I busted my ass.
Yeah. I didn't do those jumps.
He was scared, and then I was like, I went for it. I was like, yo, that's it. I'm doing it, and I did it horribly. The chain
I remember
popped.
you hit yourself hard as hell.
The chain, I fell forward. The steering wheel like took my breath out of me.
Oh yeah.
Then my face hit the ground.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like that. Then the bike comes back and slaps me, hits me in the face, and the chain is popped. Pretty much the worst situation that could happen when you do a jump.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And
well, no,
the thing
worst
is, we
would
were
be
farther.
Breaking a bone would be worse.
Well, yeah,
but
we were far, and I had to walk the bike the rest of the way.
Oh my goodness.
Which is the worst part.
All right, so the second time I took my roommate out, I had an extra bike at the time, and we're riding, and the guy I took out, he's a rider. He rides street bikes. He's a rider, right? But the dirt is a completely different world, completely different. So we get out there, we're riding, and like, all right, we wait for him to catch up. Next thing we see him like come out the trail kind of down there and just keep going. He didn't see us. So we're like, oh, damn, we got to go catch him. So we try to crank up and go catch him when we don't see where he went. So we're like, fuck. So let's try to roll this way. We looking. We're like, fuck, we do not see this guy. And like, Croom, this place is 2,500 acres of land where he could be anywhere in this 20. Well, we have a pretty good knowledge of where he's at, but there's 2,500 acres he can wander into.
That's wild.
And like, there's no signs for
see
real.
Him, you had no idea.
It was trees. It's trees.
Did you end up finding him?
We ended up finding him. So what happened? We were searching for him for so long. We ended up coming back to the truck to regroup and grab some water and stuff. And as we like coming up with a plan, some Russian guys pull up like, hey, did y'all lose a friend? We was like, yeah, where is he? He'll like, come follow us. So
I could just imagine their accent. I'd be like, oh, we're fucked.
Bro,
Fucking
right?
12 Russian dudes on a motorbike.
Taken.
Your friend's this way.
Taken.
Right? Imagine being lost in the woods and it's like some Russian dudes just ride up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
bro.
saying?
Like,
by the way, this is before Ukraine, by the way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is when Russians was kind of cool.
like, oh, shit.
Ain't that crazy?
Nah.
But yeah, we pulled up on it. He was just sitting on the ground, just because this was like summertime and it's Florida heat, and he's all decked out. He got the long sleeve shirt, the pants, the boots,
body
and
armor.
this is soft sand. So he's been pushing this bike. He ran out of gas, by the way.
Hell
He ran out of gas.
Them bikes are not light, bro. Lighter than a street bike, but not light.
Bro, pushing it through the sand. And he said like he had got to this hill and like he was finna go up the hill, but he wanted to just take a break, and that's when they pulled up.
Damn,
and said they'll
bro.
go find us.
Wait, so
Yeah.
what do you do? Do you siphon gas out of somebody else's tank?
No, we just put some in the water bottle before we went out there.
Oh, so
because
you
they
went
pulled
back-
up
oh,
and
okay,
it's like,
okay, okay.
he's out there, bring some gas. He ran out of gas, so
I mean, it's interesting you say it's a different world because I feel like that. If you gave me a street bike right now, I'd be like, "Psh, let's go. I'll go
Yeah.
wherever. We were good.
for sure.
You give me a dirt bike and give me like a dirt track, I'll be like 20 miles an hour. Like, oh,
Yeah,
like I feel a squirrely. Then I see like you said, those tires moving under people.
exactly.
I want to do it, but that seems way sketchier, bro.
Yeah, especially when you get in the soft sand. That's really when to get, because on the mountain bike,
Yeah.
when you're turning and then the wheel is turning more than you are, and you feel like it's gonna bite.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
And like it's
So,
a normal feeling.
It's a normal thing.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
then
normal
on
thing.
top of that, you have to keep the RPMs way
You
higher.
gotta go faster. If
Yeah.
that's happening, you're supposed to go faster.
It's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a regular bike where you see people. Well, even then, you're not supposed to really slow down in the turn. But like you see people get comfortable and they start like letting go of the throttle. It's like you better yank that bitch, or
Yeah.
it's not gonna go.
Like-
you just flop.
The biggest hurdle for me with riding is like you're supposed to do everything that is counterintuitive. You're supposed to
Yeah.
stand up, you're supposed to lean forward, and you're supposed to go fast.
Yep.
Every time you feel uncomfortable, you want to sit down and take your feet off
Yep.
and get off the gas when you're supposed to do the opposite. It's
You
crazy.
did your
Oh,
motorcycle course, right? Didn't you? Your
Yeah,
street
yeah.
bike.
Yeah.
What me and Jessica were having an interesting like life conversation the other day, and it was dope because that I thought of this because I never thought about it this way before. But we were talking about in a way, I guess the best way to summarize it would be kind of like keeping a good mentality or like an idea of manifestation, right? Like whatever you're seeking is essentially what you'll attain, right? Like with the right other facets behind it. And I told her it was like when you learn how to ride a motorcycle, you'll understand. Like I don't focus on negative shit. I focus on positive shit. And that tends to be what I get because I'm not, even though negative things may be attached, I'm not worried about those things. And it's like when you're turning a bike in a corner, if you ever been in a fast corner or a big corner, your eye better be on that exit.
Yeah.
Nothing else, bro,
Yeah.
because you're going to go that direction. And
Yeah.
it like when you hear it in class, it's one thing, but when you get on a bike and feel it, it's a different thing, bro. And you're like this and you're looking over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're turning that way. And I tell her it's the same thing. If you're looking at what you're going for, that's where you're gonna go.
Yeah.
As opposed to always thinking like, damn, I want to do all this stuff,
Yeah.
but what if all this stuff happens? And it's like, don't look at that shit. Look at what you want from it.
You're making yourself hesitate by the fear behind of something bad happening.
Exactly.
But that's when something bad happens.
Right.
And that's like, when you're turning the corner, like you said, you got to just commit to it and just
Yep.
go. It's going to happen. Something good is going to happen.
You gotta trust it.
Yeah,
Trust that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and that's it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just brought it up, and I thought it was
No, that's
cool
that's
story.
legit for sure.
Yeah, I definitely want to go with you soon.
Let me know. Yeah.
For sure.
Wait,
Yeah.
when's the last time you rode a bike? Was it the course?
That's the thing. Yeah. Because,
Wait, did you get one of those like the cruisers, or did you get like the
it was
dual
they
sport?
only had the cruisers.
Okay.
Yeah. But I wanted to buy a dual sport.
That's what I had,
so-
the black one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, my bad.
I think damn, I haven't looked it up in so long. The Suzuki 600
DRZ.
DRZ.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one I
Or
had was a
DRS
Honda.
600. I don't-
They got a
yeah.
400 and
Yeah,
250.
400 is
that one.
I think
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, my first dirt-ish bike was the dual sport that I had, which was after 2 or 3 street bikes. And it's such a crazier feeling. I remember
is.
telling you about it several times, even on a dual sport that's not fully geared and set up for the dirt, to be able to just be riding down the street and know that you could go anywhere you want. If anybody started chasing you anywhere, that you were going to get away because you could go just duck into the woods. You could jump a curb. You could do whatever because you had the suspension, you had the gas mileage,
Yep.
and the wheels. Like, you know what I mean? You're ready
Yep.
to go. I remember one time I was on the turnpike and there was mad traffic backed up, and I was on the dual sport. I was on the grass, bro. Literally, I was on the side of the road, just brah, brah, and I'm driving by.
I was actually there when he picked it up, and he just started driving in the grass, and I'm dying laughing because he's just going off road.
You were?
Yeah, I'm the one. I went with you to pick it up.
For real?
Yeah,
Damn.
Eat some more fruits, man.
No, I know you went with me to get my first bike. I didn't know about the dual sport too.
No, when you traded it.
Oh,
he was looking at
now
it.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, bro. It just feels super dope, man. It feels like you're like really limitless, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, other than when you're on the street. But.
Yeah.
So do you think you'd be confident getting on a dirt bike right now?
Right now, yeah. I mean, it'll take me a while to do any jumps.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But-
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So we all need to buy dirt bikes. First
Let's do
paycheck,
it.
first big paycheck.
we need
human
dirt bikes
beings.
and jet skis and boats.
Yeah.
Y'all want to know my main reason why I don't want to get a jet ski?
Why?
Because I'm gonna dirt bike less.
True.
It's crazy.
I feel that.
Crazy.
You've already
addicted.
invested heavily.
It's speaking on that, I started thinking about how this guy unintentionally did a smart thing, I think.
I always do.
He kept trading his bike and trading the jet ski for like an activity he would dedicate to for like 6 months to a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would trade it in for a jet ski, or trade it in for a dual sport, trade it in for a street bike.
Mm-hmm.
And you're focusing on those because, you can't do all three of them all the time. It takes up time.
Yeah.
So that's actually a better route to go about it, is just keep trading it.
Mm-hmm.
And you could make money off of that too,
Yeah.
depending on how you're trading it and who you sell to, and then just buy another thing for what you're into at that time.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking about, just dedicating a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just going from different type of
and the cool
activities.
thing
Yep.
is too, you're not really restricted to like, oh damn, like I have to do this for so long. Like
Yeah.
you do it till you feel like doing it, or
Mhm.
until you feel like the next thing you want to do, you want more. So you're
Mhm.
like, fuck it, or it's more profitable. Like you said, the best deal. Sometimes, a lot of times, I might lose a couple bucks or break even. But to me, if I lose $100, $200, that's basically, I feel like I paid that to experience what I just did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus the only thing I think I made money on, luckily, was the jet ski that made up for all of it, because I made $1,500 on it.
Oh wow.
I had it for about a year, maybe a little less than that. Made $1,500, so I got paid $1,500. How I'm looking at it, to have a jet ski for a year, which I know now after experiencing the dual sport, street bikes, the jet ski. I've been on a boat before. Now I have a better idea of for you, you love the dirt bikes, and you know that's what you really want to dedicate your time and energy to, and money. And for me, I know that I'm more on the aquatic side.
Yeah.
Like I love bikes and motorcycles. I love that stuff. But if I was going to spend my time and money, I'd rather be on the water.
It's so much fun.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can see
It feels
that.
like a little bit more freedom. I feel like that's the closest thing to like real freedom.
Yeah.
Just being on the open water.
Open water. You know why? Why is he saying? You know why he's saying that?
He ain't fucking with the lakes.
No. Why are you saying
no.
that? Why are you saying open water?
I
That
mean,
the
I don't know
open
what
water
you're
is the
thinking.
freedom and the adventure.
Oh yeah, for the freedom and adventure. Pretty much, I got that sense of adventure from this anime called One Piece, and they're like pirates, and greatest show on earth, by the way.
Okay.
But pretty much that's what got me into like the open water. Well, him getting on jet skis too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to get on the water for sure.
Yep.
But
Yep.
what kind of
Hold on, man.
go what?
Hold on, man. Just because you brought it up, we got a little surprise on the show. We got a little surprise on the show today. My boy Jeremy getting it. And like Chris is like, what the fuck is going on? He has no idea.
What are you talking
Yo,
about?
that cabinet right there, bro. Oh, my bad. Is that the wrong one? Try this one. Oh shit. He's like,
Let me guess, it's a
ah,
painting of One Piece.
He's like, what's going
What's
on?
that?
He brought it up, so we gotta see what's up. What you think, Jeremy? He about to find out.
What is this? Oh shit.
Dang.
That's you don't watch. Wait, do you watch anime?
No.
No.
I don't.
Okay. Well, this is the pirate flag for the Straw Hat Pirates, which is the main character.
Gotcha. So he told me, like, I've seen that, and he's like, no, it's for Chris. It's this anime. So I kind of put it
Oh,
together.
this is for me.
Yeah, it's yours, bro.
Oh,
You painted it?
Yeah.
Huh? Oh,
Hell yeah.
shit. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the nicest thing you've ever done for me.
Nah, I let you on the
I
podcast.
appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, bro. That shit raw, huh?
Hell yeah.
That coding, boy. there is something that I isn't exactly how it should be on
First
there.
of all, that's hilarious that I bring that up.
I
And
know.
that's why he was
that
like,
is
why?
good. Yeah.
Why? That's why he tried to say.
Perfect segue.
Why?
Wait, why?
Wait. You love the water. Nah, yeah. That's just fire though.
That's funny.
I got some practice in. I was like, yeah, I need to get some stroke practice in. No homo. Get the right technique done. So I was like, let me just practice on some shit. So
How was stroke practice homo? But anyways,
you know.
no, I was gonna ask. So what other things do you do on your off time? Because me, I just research all day, pretty much.
You know what's
All
crazy?
1 hours every day that he gets.
Nah, well, yeah, I get like a few hours every day.
It's sad, but I don't try to do anything else.
No, you just dirt biking.
If
right
I
now?
got free time, I'm going riding, or I'm working on the bike so I can go riding.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bad. Like, I was just studying for the certification, this IT certification.
Yeah.
And it's a really intense test. And it's a test that I never thought I would make it to this level of IT. And when I would try to go, I would say like, okay, I'm gonna go do a short day on Saturday, get up early, I'm gonna go ride in the morning, then I get back and study in the afternoon. But I get back, I gotta wash the bike, I gotta clean, I gotta go through everything because I just can't settle down unless everything's done.
Yeah.
And then by that time, it's time to get something to eat, make sure my girl's straight. She just tore her ACL, so I gotta make sure she's straight and stuff. It was dirt biking, by the way.
Damn.
He tore her ACL.
No, I didn't.
He tore his girl's ACL.
No, I didn't.
Thumbnail of the day.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Didn't happen.
Former airman tears his girlfriend's ACL.
And then like the next day, I'm like, all right, bet I'm finna spend all day studying. But I sit down to study, but I'm thinking about everything I did wrong riding to where I can do better next time. So I need 2 days just to get out of riding mode, just to get back in my study mode. So
That's how you know you love it.
Bro, so I didn't touch. So I had my first race back. It was a day in the dirt.
Wait, so you're actually racing?
I did my first race. So my very first time racing dirt bikes ever. Yeah, it was this big Red Bull event called Day in the Dirt in Day City. It was huge.
We got to show you the videos after.
Yeah, I was on the track with pros and everything. It was pretty sweet. But like I haven't rode since that time. Since then, just so I could focus on that test. It's been like 2 weeks straight. Yeah. Well, it's been a month now. This weekend I was supposed to get the bike back, but it's in the shop. Parts and get here on time. All that crazy.
Hey, and we got to golf and do the podcast, bro. Come on, man.
The reason why I asked, and speaking about what I do, is just always I try and research as much as possible, as much as I can every day. But I've been watching recently about on Gaia.com, which I always bring it up.
Okay.
Because Gaia.com, it just has some good shows.
I heard y'all talk about it last time. I don't know much about it, so we can get into it.
But like I've been recently looking into giants, like the existence of giants and stuff like that.
I'm right here.
You're far from a giant. What do you think about giants? You think giants are real?
Okay,
we're real
by giants, as in like people
giant,
who are taller than others,
like in the storybooks,
like Yao Ming, or like
nah. Well, they
like
were
a species, a species of that.
I would say they were around on average from 7 to 10 feet giants.
So, are we going to like the what was called the Gigantopithecus type situation that's been discovered? You know what I'm talking about?
That.
The Gigantopithecus or something?
But wasn't that more of like an ape-like?
It was like an ape-like.
He's
like
talking about
Bigfoot.
he's talking about giant
humans.
humans.
No, I'm talking about giant humans, like actual humans.
But not.
I've never heard of it. Because I have no reason not to believe it. I've heard of small people like the pygmies and stuff like that. I've heard of that stuff, but not giants.
No, because pretty much it's there's giants' bones that have been discovered all over the world. So early 1900s and before that, there are over like 900 different articles of people discovering these bones throughout the Americas when we were traveling towards the west of America.
Okay.
And you can bring up these news articles and everything. So pretty much they would find on average they're like 7 foot to like 10 feet, and then there's some that are even 25 feet and stuff like this, like actual bones.
Okay.
Like 100% for,
and they're like human type bones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they look like human bones, but obviously for some reason it's been covered up and been suppressed by the Smithsonian Institute, which is, the Smithsonian. Everyone knows what the Smithsonian is. For whatever reason, I don't even know the reason, but and these giants, it's just interesting to me about giants because they have been mentioned in folklore and mythological stories, and even in the Bible with the Nephilim,
something like that.
Something like David versus Goliath. Type
David
stuff?
and Goliath too. But actually, the main thing, which I don't know if you ever heard anything on this on your little spree that you went on Native American stuff, but
No, I'm trying to find out what you're saying.
So like in Native American folklore, they have many stories of giants and cannibal giants, and supposedly, there's this story that when Europeans came over here, that there's these stories that the Native Americans, the Paiute tribe specifically, came together and they had a war against these red-haired giants, and they drove them into this cave because they all banded together, the regular-sized humans like us and stuff, banded together. They put them in this cave, and they ended up like putting a fire into the cave to draw out one by one and kill the rest of them. Apparently, and this cave is called Lovelock Cave.
Okay.
And there's just so many different stories that go behind the giants and them existing. There's bones. The bones are 100%, like the news articles, and it's not like, okay, sometime you could say maybe some journalists maybe have exaggerated something for some type of prestige or something. But when you're talking about over 900 articles, you can't. That just goes out the window.
Yeah.
There's no way for them to say something like that. But so what do you think about giants?
I mean, I think if it's based on the type of stuff that we've been looking at and reading, it's just like,
why not?
That's nothing. Like, clearly they were giants. Like, have you heard about the aquafarians? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, that sounds crazier than giants.
I mean, they all do. You know what I mean? It's just like anything that we've never seen or couldn't imagine being real seems crazy. You know what I'm saying? At this point now, I just feel like it's hard to hear anything that doesn't sound like it could be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, giants for sure.
I feel like the more that you research into stuff, the more the fantasy stuff becomes reality.
Yeah, because you see that's where it comes from.
Where does it come from? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's even a story about Merlin, who, you know who Merlin is, was like the famous wizard that like used to be in the stories with like King Arthur and stuff. He was like the famous wizard. I don't know. Do you know about him?
I never heard of it, but
Merlin?
I can pick it.
Okay. Have you heard of Merlin?
No, but the name is cool. I've heard the name, but I have not in that context. Not in
okay,
that
well,
context.
he's supposed to be he's supposed to be some famous wizard, right?
Okay.
And there's a story, I forgot what it was, but I heard it from this guy who's like this researcher called Andrew Collins, and he talks about how that Merlin, there's this story behind him that he recruited these giants to create Stonehenge. And that's how Stonehenge was created. And a lot of these other stone structures were created by giants because they were able to be
which
moved by
makes
giants.
more sense to me. I've heard that theory aside from the Merlin thing, but which makes sense.
That makes sense. All the pyramids and stuff.
Which, by the way, I've been getting. I know you said you heard it in that episode 9 where we were talking to Manny about all the mushrooms and underground bases and all that.
Oh yeah.
I'm 3-4 seasons deep into Cosmic Disclosure, that series on Gaia we're talking about. Bro, it's like we said, it's a little repetitive, but there's so much information that just doesn't sound crazy anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly.
It's like now you get to the point where you're just
crazy.
like, I could definitely see that. To make it more specific, I was telling one of my clients this the other day. After being in the military or a time in the Air Force, and luckily with the job that I had, always went on, and you did too. You know, we all did, but because I was always around like high-ranking people, because I was the person either driving them or giving them a vehicle or coordinating their transportation, whatever. You know, let's say there was a day where I had to drive these generals around all day, right? For 12 hours, 10 hours today. I'm just in the whip, pull up wherever they want, listening to them talk, converse the whole time. Then they get out. Then they get back in the car. You know, I just take them. I just drive them around all day, chauffeur them. So you get to kind of like really hear whether there's people in the car, out the car, how they talk on the phone. Like you really get to hear how shit goes on. You know what I'm saying? And after that, and hearing how that guy, one of the main guys, Emery Smith, that we talked about, who had basically, he was in the Air Force. And so, you know how we had our jobs, right? We go in 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever. Well, he would basically go in for like 4 hours or half the day. And then he would go to, he would just go somewhere else to help with another thing that his coworkers didn't know. And I can relate because obviously being in the military, right? So it'd be like if somebody was just like going to do PT or going to some appointment.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's what they did. But then what he was doing was basically going to a secret underground part of the base to do part of the secret program, allegedly. And so his coworkers didn't know what he was doing, because much like you're contracted right now with the government, the secret space programs are contracted companies that work for and on the bases, but it's separate. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's how it was for him. And when I hear just the way he describes the military time, how things work, and all that, from my personal experience, I'm like, well, he's not talking shit on that.
Yeah,
like,
you can feel the genuinity in his voice, regardless of if it's true or not. You know that he definitely believes that it's true.
And
he's saying, and he thinks he experienced it. So
Yeah.
because we can't really 100% prove it, but
And everything he says about what it's like, even though, after somebody's been in for like, if I've been out for 10 years, 20 years, things change, right? Which always does, but there's a lot of stuff that doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, everything he says about it is just like, everything he said is on point to me. Like, that makes sense.
Yep.
So then
Yeah,
you take
yeah.
everything else into consideration.
It's very
and-
logical.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, it's just,
Yeah.
and then you think about it, and then it's like, wow, bro, like how much shit is going. We already know how much shit goes on that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But then you hear it from somebody that doesn't sound wild, that seems pretty put together, and doesn't seem like they have any reason to lie, and all this, and you're just like, wow,
it's
bro.
going back to like the more you look into things, the more the fantasy stuff.
Those trip me out.
Huh?
He had a little dirt bike drive by.
Yeah, no, it was a little
shoot.
bicycle.
Oh,
it was
was
the
it?
bicycle with a little engine on them. Those tripped me out.
I was about to say what kind of bike was it because you could hear the engine and know.
I would probably be able to.
250.
No, I was gonna say that when I was talking about how like the more I research, the more I feel like the fantasy stuff that is considered fantasy is actually more reality. Is that damn, I lost my thought on that.
All right, I
But-
talked about Emery Smith not
Yeah.
being genuine.
Yeah. So like those when they're talking and stuff, it seems very logical when they explain these things and they explain these technologies, and it sounds legit.
Yeah.
Like it's you can back it up. Like they have patents and the technology, the science that they're explaining, the mathematics they're explaining. It's accurate.
Yeah.
So it's just pretty crazy. But what I was thinking was how long do you because I was thinking how it would be interesting how long these giants live. Like if they're that big, how much longer do they live?
Or shorter, because you got to
Or
think
shorter.
Great
Yeah.
Danes. A Great Dane is one of the biggest breeds, and they have one of the shortest lifespans.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I would,
didn't even think about that.
imagine shorter.
Because you
That's
got
why
to
you're
think
here,
they're
bro. That's why you're here.
even like the people who are freakishly tall now.
Yeah,
They
but
end
those,
up-
but those, I
and
think
it's
are
it's
separate.
mutation
Yeah, because
type
those are
stuff.
like more. Yeah, exactly.
But you got to think like that might have been what they are originally. You know what
But
I mean?
don't like whales live for a long time though?
I
yeah,
don't know.
Yeah.
but
But it's different.
Which this series, by the way, Cosmic Disclosure, has made me question how intelligent we are compared to dolphins and whales.
oh,
and
bro.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Like, because I'm like, you know what? We might be the dumb ones.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're here like, wow. Like what if they are actually further evolved evolution forms of us?
Yeah.
And they're looking at us like these dudes are still out there on land with cities. Like
they still out here
they don't know
walking?
this is where it's at.
Let
And,
me guess. They never seen an aquafarian before.
Yeah.
and then that was
It was actually interesting when I was swimming with whale sharks in Mexico.
oh yeah,
Sounds crazy.
because I just swim with whale
Yeah,
sharks.
Excuse us.
It's just a regular weekend. When I was swimming with whale sharks in Mexico, though, there was a pod of dolphins there, and they were doing the slapping on there, and the guy was telling me that they were telling us to leave them alone, like don't come by us, and I was just like, damn, these motherfuckers are smart. as shit.
Yeah, it's just like
That's
yeah,
the
we
first
were-
thing y'all wanted
Yeah.
to do. Like, oh, let's go swim with the dolphins.
Yeah, and there's like get the fuck out of here.
Don't even think about it, human.
They could read your vibes just being
Yeah,
on their
yeah.
road. They're like, get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here.
I mean, there's obviously some kind of communication between animals,
Yeah.
and we're not obviously comprehending it. I mean,
Well-
they
Yeah.
could be probably on a telepathic level.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
When you hear him talk about the ideas of like different species of extraterrestrials
Yeah,
that could be
yeah.
out there that hear things through the frequencies and sounds, like that they like. For example, I know one he was talking about was like half dolphin-ish creature, right? Or there was another one that would just let out really loud pitched screeches, right? And you wouldn't hear, you would just hear it as that noise. But to them, that's like a higher form of language where that screech frequency to them, like their biology is processing that differently.
Yeah. That's like how whales, you can't
Exactly.
hear them sing. You have
Yeah.
to, I think they're on a lower frequency or I
But
don't
just
know.
imagine, like we're to us, we're just, let's say we're like woo, like that whole sound to them is like a fully fully detailed message and some shit.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? It's just like wow.
Speaking of the whales, it's funny. There's actually some story about in Native Americans. This just popped in my head was where the giants. There were stories of giants that actually would come out and just grab the whales with their hands
Oh, wow.
and supposedly pick them up from the oceans.
That's a whole nother level giant. When I hear giant, when I'm thinking about giants like we're talking about, it's not that kind of giant.
Yeah, that's
to
huge.
pull up a whale.
There's it's crazy in One Piece, the anime. this type of stuff, all this stuff, like the stuff that's in the Cosmic Disclosure, the different type of extraterrestrials that are supposedly that exist, and giants, it's all in that show.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, because it's like every island has its own story and stuff. It's like an adventure type of anime, and greatest show on earth. And it's the analogies, and I know that Oda, who's the creator of One Piece, has to have grabbed them from these mythological stories, just like every other creator of stories and stuff. But the analogies and the way he connects the world in that anime, that's almost how I see this world, the possibility of it. Obviously not right now, but like maybe at one time or maybe in the future, as far as like the mixture of different types of races and beings, because we're obviously, if there is, we're suppressed from knowing if there is anything underground or anything. So.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is another interesting point too, that they were talking about, where like those underground, like, you know, those ruins that they find way under deep sea, that they potentially could have been at that time when they were populated, they weren't underwater at the time. You know, like we instantly want to think, oh, they're underwater, but it's like, well, at that time they could have not been underwater and been way more advanced, and you know, the whole Earth planetary physicality changes, and now we're in a totally, which is also why they say they found all those giant pyramids and stuff in combs underground, which is wild.
It was a guest on Joe Rogan. I watch a lot of Joe Rogan, by the way.
You do or you don't?
I do.
Wait, we don't say that name on this podcast.
Sorry. So he had a guest not too long ago where he was talking about how it was a desert in Africa, kind of near Egypt. That's not the Sahara, is it?
Sahara is Africa.
All right, let's just call it the Sahara. And like at one point in time, it was a lush green forest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And people talk about like global warming and stuff like that, but the earth naturally changes, you know what I'm saying, whether it gets warmer or colder on its own, no matter
cycles.
no matter if we interfere with it at all. And like maybe that, like stuff like that is like could be like the lost city of Atlantis.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just covered with sand now when it used to be a tropical forest or whatever. You know.
And then speaking on that, like the cycles of the earth and stuff, I've also heard that all the pyramids around the earth are specifically placed on the ley lines, and certain huge pyramid structures are placed on certain places in the earth because that's what creates the tilt of the earth to create a stable environment.
Oh, wow.
So that's why these structures are there, because it creates a certain weight on the earth, because if it didn't have those weights on it, then it would be chaotic or crazy, and that's like what does stability. And
that would be wild.
That's scary.
And that's also like a story of like them bringing. There's a story of supposedly them bringing the moon to the earth, right? So there's this. I say it like I already explained you the whole story, but there's pretty much. There's stories of them bringing the moon here, and it's pretty much like a satellite type of like synthetic planet. And that also cycling around the earth creates a certain stability in the earth as well. So it's the moon plus the pyramids placed in the ley lines, which is the energetic grid of the earth. In certain positions is what creates the certain environment for certain species and life to exist.
Wow.
Where if you didn't have that, then it wouldn't be a stable planet, and it would be something like, you know, if the other planet, like what other planets that don't have any life are like.
That's scary. So imagine if like, you know, you got the pyramids in Mexico and stuff, like the Mayans built and whatnot. Like, you know, they had the Mayan calendar, the world's finna end or whatever. But these muds built the pyramids to counterweight the earth, so they actually, you know.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's wild
and
too.
Giants built them.
Yeah, right.
Like, our that's a good thought. I was thinking about this the other day. I just redirected. The idea of like all these activists and environmentalists, right, that want to change the, you know, protect the earth and save the earth and do all these things. I get that 100%. Why wouldn't you want to save the earth? Why wouldn't you want to take care of it, right? And I'm not saying to do the opposite of that, but you also got to think like we tend to separate ourselves as humans from nature, right? We tend to view our civilizations and everything as something separate from nature. But we are human beings who are a part of the world and part of nature. Therefore, everything that we do is also part of nature, right? Like us building this building it's not a quote unquote natural structure, but because we created it, in that sense, it is a natural thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just like an anthill. You look at an anthill and they made it out of dirt. Like, yeah, we made it out of concrete, but where the hell did we get the concrete from? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all materials that we put together to create it. So when you think about that, where I'm going with the thought is you get all these people who want to save the earth and change this and keep people from doing things, right? Keep people from doing things that's going to harm the earth, which I totally get. But then at a certain point, you have to understand that what we're doing also is a part of nature. So as long as I think as long as you're not doing something that you know is directly catastrophic or dangerous or anything like that, it's like we have to do what we're doing. And if we can do it in a way that's less harmful to earth, that's good. Yeah. But I don't think that means we should stray away from creating or doing things that we think are harmful because they're not natural, because we're natural. And the reason I bring that up again is because, like you said, the earth and the planet is going to go through its own homeostasis, right? To bring everything back to balance and where it's supposed to be. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to be a lost civilization. You know what I mean? Like at some point in time.
The only thing I would say to that, though, is you're talking about I still think we should integrate our civilization within nature.
That would be better.
But the only there is a difference between us and nature, the natural world, as far as animals, plants, and all these things. Because the plants and animals have a specific blueprint and intuition into the way that they live. Meaning,
right? I get that.
Where, like, if a plant is just trying to be a full-fledged plant, where it blooms to its full potential and it's satisfied. A lion is just trying to eat just to be able to survive until it eventually dies, and they're content. These animals are content in nature, just by eating and drinking and doing their regular cycle. They have a certain intuition to be able to, or instinct to live that way, and it's harmonious with the cycle of natural world. But we are special because we have a consciousness above that blueprint. So our consciousness is what gives us above it, where we can create.
I would say outside of it. I wouldn't necessarily.
Okay, not above it, but we have an ability to be creators, as opposed to they're part of the creation, but we have the consciousness to become creators and evolve into that. But right now, it's more like, we need to integrate into that. I think we should definitely integrate more into nature than we have been, for sure. I'm not for the whole global warming agenda.
Yeah, for sure.
That the New World Order is for. And when I say that, I mean like these false environmentalists or false foundations that claim that they're trying to help the forest, but yet they're taking donations from the very people who are destroying the planet.
Yeah.
For instance, like these foundations who claim, this is sustainable fishing.
Yeah.
But sustainable fishing, they're over here going to in Asia. There's like no regulations, and they're killing they're overfishing like crazy. And when you have auditors that come to go on their boats, there's a lot of reports of them dying. They throw them overboard and they kill them. There's so many fishing boats that they cannot regulate it and they're just overfishing like crazy, and there's no one regulating it, and then they're just slapping on the label sustainable fishing. Well, what's sustainable fishing at that point?
Yeah.
But like what are you saying that's sustainable fishing? And you're taking donations from these very people, and then you're trying to claim you're for the planet, but you're just doing surface level stuff. Like, you want me to not drink out of a straw because of a turtle video that they pulled the straw out his nose.
Yeah.
But yet you don't want to say anything about the amount of overcatch. I think it's called bycatch. Bycatch on all these fishings in Asia. No one's saying the amount of turtles that die from that is like 100,000 times than me doing the straw.
Yeah. That and the fishing lines. Have you seen?
Exactly.
What's the Seaspiracy? I think is what it was.
Seaspiracy is
right?
a good ass documentary. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
But
and that's the thing too, though. I mean that when you get to that big of a problem in the system, that's the same problem we have with politicians in the States, right? They get their position, their position of public service, and then they're acting like they're working for the people who they should be working for, but really they're taking money from the corporations to vote for the laws that are going to help the corporations.
Yeah.
So but the system is so deeply rooted this way that it gets to a point where you have to start thinking like way out of the box to try to figure a solution.
And that's why you should have congressional term limits, which is what Ron Paul has always been trying to get, because you got these people in there for 40, 50 years, like Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden, all these people, and the Clintons, like, you've been in here for 40, 50 plus years. What are you still doing here?
Yeah.
That
you need
makes
to get
me
out.
think of those 30-year staff and staff sergeants.
Exactly,
they're
bro.
just there for the check.
Exactly.
Knowing,
And that's and that's a thing too.
No regard for people whatsoever. They're just there specifically just to go with the flow and whoever throws them the most money, or they're just
their system is working for them. You know what I'm saying? It's not working for us in that way. Like there's a lot of flaws with the system. Overall, I think it's better than most. I'm not gonna not say that, but that are going right now at least. But from our time in the military, I refer back to those thoughts and ideas and experiences so much when I look at the way shit is, and then I think about the way that other people look at it when they think about the government or politics or the way the world works, and I think about it and I'm just like, man, you have no idea. You know what I mean? Like, to be able to have experienced those things, like get deployed overseas and be with, people that, let's say, have rank that people look up to and think, if you come out like, oh yeah, I hold this position in the military, but behind closed doors, it's like, this person don't know how to do shit.
Nothing.
They don't know how to do anything.
They know how to volunteer and write a bullet
and tell you what this person told you to do, but like they don't know how to do anything.
That's the problem, though. We have a bunch of people that are managing the planet who can't even manage themselves, and they're supposed to be managing all of civilization.
That was the worst part
That's
for
ridiculous.
me. For me, that was the worst part of being in the military that I tell people every time. They were like, oh, what was the worst part, or what was bad for you? And the best way to put that for me is the worst part was being 20 years old, 19 years old, and knowing that this person who, okay, I'm coming in, right? I'm 19 years old. You've been in for 3-4 more years than me, right? So, and let's say you're like 20.
Can you fix your seating position? Because this is...
Don't worry about me, man. So you
and you got the water bottle in the middle.
Don't worry about me, man. Look from the waist up, man. Look from the waist up. So you got me thinking about all self-conscious. So you have this guy who's been in 3-4 years more than you. Let's say you're 20, you're 22, 23, I'm 19, I'm coming in. You don't know what the hell you're doing with your life. You don't know about nothing. You don't even know how to pay your bills right. You don't know how to do anything. But you have full control over me and everything I got going on for the next 3-4 years. And I got to deal with the fact that I got to do whatever you say. And whatever you tell our superiors is going to have way more weight than me, whether it's true or not. Like all that stuff, bro. And you see this so many. Granted, I'm not talking necessarily shit about the military, because there's a lot of good things about it. But when you see that most of the people there, they take on the glory of being prideful military members and and I'm a warrior and I stand up for you. When so many of them are just there because they have a false sense of security. They want to get that free paycheck. They want to make sure they know every 2 weeks I'm getting paid. It's going to be really, really, really hard for you to fire me. Like, I can almost do everything wrong and you probably still can't fire me unless I really mess up for a long time.
And let's back to the analogy that I'm your supervisor, and that the only way because I kind of learned this as I was going through ALS, like even
what's ALS?
Airman Leadership School. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So even if you are a fuck up and everyone knows you're a fuck up, if I didn't record that, if I don't have a paper trail of that,
it don't matter.
It don't matter. Everybody could know he a fuck up. But if I didn't take the time to record it and to give you an LOC every time you've been late, you know what I'm saying? Give you it, and even write down every time I had to verbally counsel you. If I didn't take the time out my day when I need to go be taking care of my wife and kids, but it's still, and it's a fault. It's still a fault on me, because you're still representing the world's greatest Air Force. You know what I'm saying? And I need to do my job more to get you out the middle. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And he was the only reason I even joined the Air Force. I mean, he did a completely different job than me. He did communications.
Yeah,
right?
and that's what I was gonna say. Like, you tell the story of a terrible supervisor situation. I was blessed enough I had great supervisors throughout my whole career almost.
Yeah. And that's why for you wouldn't feel like if somebody asked you how was your, like if I asked you right now how was your
my
time in the
reason would be
military?
completely different.
Yeah.
I saved his life. Yeah, by joining. He was trying to join the Marines.
Well,
Real?
Originally I was signed up for the Marine Corps.
Wow.
If I call the VA right now, sometimes I have to tell them Marines or Air Force because sometimes in their system it still shows us both.
Wow.
But
I was about to join the Air Force.
Yeah.
And then I convinced him. I was like, bro, who cares about the hoorah stuff?
Yeah.
Get in the Air Force. And then he eventually did it.
Yeah.
But then I didn't join because
after I went to the Army first. So I was like locked into the Marines. I dipped into the Marines. I was doing their workouts and all that and then I went to the Army after I've noticed they were messing with my contract right before I was gonna go. And then I did the Army for like a couple weeks, a couple days, and then they argued it out. And then that's when he finally convinced me to talk to the Air Force.
Yeah.
And then which now, thankfully,
Bro,
is the best
that's
decision.
crazy.
Especially after being in Afghanistan with all of them at the same time, and you see how everybody's life is different.
That's why he sends me $100 a month.
Yeah.
Save his life.
You owe me $100 a month.
No, but I wanted to talk more on the when you were talking about that you have to listen to somebody who's higher rank, no matter what or how stupid they are. It doesn't even matter.
Right.
Like it's the same way with everything in the corporations,
yeah, it's true.
in the medical community specifically. Like the medical community, just because they have a white coat on, or they're considered a scientist, or they're considered a medical doctor, all of a sudden 100% everything they say is correct, except for most of their stuff is just theory.
Yeah.
And there's people that they just really are just lazy and they don't want to put the time in to actually learn it and to realize that these people are just regular people.
That's true.
These politicians, the scientists, the engineers, the doctors, they are just regular people.
Yep.
I know that doesn't seem like it because you're seeing them on TV, you're seeing them on a show, you're fictionalizing their existence and associating them with like movie-like characters.
Put them on a pedestal.
Exactly. Because the media is, which is also controlled by a whole nother shit, but because they're displaying him that way. And unless you're conscious enough to see that, you're just feeding into their bullshit. Because like the medical community, I'm sorry, they don't know anything. Our medical the medical modality right now is allopathic. Well, by the way, are you like in the medical? You're not in the medical field or anything, right? But I was gonna talk shit anyways. Okay.
Yeah.
No, you good.
But so like the medical community is so corrupt, it literally disgusts me.
I bet.
Like masks don't work. I think COVID is fake, and
We're gonna have to have them. Another time.
I'm not going to go into details into that right now, but I'm just saying it's fake.
Yeah.
So, like, the whole medical modality that we're under right now, it was all created and reformed by John D. Rockefeller. In 1910, there was he reformed and they created this thing called the what was it? The Flexner's Report.
Okay.
And it was created by the Carnegie Foundation. And they were trying to say that our medical community was not up to par and was not good, pretty much. And they needed to reform it. And this is also, whenever something is getting reformed, this is an advantage for somebody else to be able to scoot in there and gain control whenever there's a reform. So pretty much they through this report John D. Rockefeller worked with the General Education Board to establish the curriculums within universities. And John Hopkins University, I believe it's the university, John Hopkins, and then like all these other universities, they created the curriculum that is now today from that in there. And this is that modality, which is an allopathic modality. They're training these scientists or these scientists and these so-called doctors in the way that they want to teach you medical practice. And John D. Rockefeller is known for being a greedy son of a bitch.
Oh yeah,
because he owns Standard Oil. But anyway, so besides all that history and stuff, he's behind the whole curriculum of the medical community now. And
the medicine.
Yeah. And then they what they did pretty much, to summarize it, is they made the doctors indoctrinated to say you have to learn this way and you have to get licensed and registered under our stuff, pay us money for you to operate that way. And then on top of that, you're going to have to convince everybody. You convince everybody to take all these pills that were derived from herbs, but now they've become synthetic, isolated chemistry,
petroleum-based stuff
that isolates, that creates imbalances in the body and actually makes things worse.
Yep.
And everyone becomes addicted to them.
Yep.
And then they also GMO our food, make us unhealthy, but GMO our food, giving us prescriptions, feeding our brains with bullcrap on the media.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, then they're forcing you to get insurance, right? So so they're forcing you to get insurance. They're robbing you of money in every single angle you can think of. They're anally raping you.
Yeah.
And they're making you to get that's what the whole Affordable Care Act was about, because they want you to pay for the insurance for you to go to a doctor that's not going to cure you. Not one doctor has cured anything. You look up every single disease, it says there is no cure, because this disease is the way they're using it doesn't exist. The terminology and the diagnosis of the specific areas that they're trying to say are these diseases do exist, but it's dis-ease. But they've changed it to the word disease, but it's really just the dis-ease of the body.
Yeah.
And they're not. What they did, they made a simple thing, which is, to summarize it, it comes into fruits and herbs. Yeah. Right. They've created this simple thing, which is you need to eat closer to the earth, which is fruits and herbs, and create higher vibrationals. And they've made it more complex. And the more complex it is, the less intelligent you are, because intelligence is a sharp tool. It's a dissecting tool. So when I look at this barbershop, I'm breaking it down as there's paintings, there's these walls, there's these chairs. That's my intelligence breaking it down. When you're making something complex, they made it to seem like when you're saying something complex, you're smarter. Yeah. It's the opposite. This is why yogic masters and gurus simplify things into 1 or 2 sentences. And it applies to all these complex situations. It's just whether or not you're able to comprehend that complex situation in which it entails. Gotcha. And that's the art of being able to communicate and speech communication and stuff like that. But what they've done is create it to the point that the medical modality is designed to slowly kill you and suffer you, to make you suffer. And then they're just taxing you on everything. Then they have these outrageous medical bills, which is forcing you to have to get insurance for if something happens. So you have to get forced to get insurance. You're looking at, and then when you use the insurances, especially with car insurance, you pay car insurance for your whole life, but don't use it. We don't want you to use it.
Yeah, it's a penalty.
Because if you use it,
it's a penalty.
Oh, well, you want to use the stuff you paid for. Oh, now we got to charge you more. Yeah. It's insane. It's literally a scam. Insurance is a great idea, but it's been corrupted on a high level. The same with the medical community now. Like with what they're doing now, they've set up the structure in the last century for what they're doing now, which is forcing kids to wear masks, do all these things. They're using. It's not about COVID, whether you believe it exists or not. It's not about that. It's about control, right? And it's about medical tyranny. Yep, that's what they set up for. They're making you get vaccines, which are all poison, in my opinion, and doing all these things. And they're making you set up because they've convinced you for 100 years and your ancestors and your parents that this is the way medicine works, where there's no cures.
But and that's the
insanity.
The part
mental
two
insanity
is like, I grew up in the same idea, right? The way that I grew up was the same way. You get a cold, you take some NyQuil at night, you take some Benadryl or whatever if you get allergies. And when you really think about it, as you get older and talk about this stuff, it's like any medication you would take that the doctor tells you to take, if you ask the doctor what it does, they're gonna tell you, oh, this is going to make you feel better. This is going to make this go away. This is going to make... Yeah, but what is this, right? It's the symptom. And they don't tell you that this is going to fix the root problem of whatever it is you're doing.
Treating the symptom.
Right.
So they're just using Band-Aids to the problem.
So it's like, oh, my head, my something's going on in my body that's causing enough inflammation in my head that my head hurts real bad. So they're like, okay, we'll give you this to alleviate the inflammation. But it's like, yeah, but what's causing the inflammation? Why am I getting the headache? And you don't think about this because you just want to feel better. And you trust that the government or the doctors, the people that are in charge that you've grown up with, that you've looked up to, that like, oh, they're smarter than me.
Exactly.
That's why we put them in that pedestal, or that's why they want us to put them on the pedestal, because then you grow up and you're like, oh, that's why there's so much prestige. You tell someone, oh yeah, oh, this is my boyfriend or my girlfriend, and they're a doctor, and it's like, I don't give a fuck if you're a doctor. That just means you like school and you like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it in a negative way. I know a lot of doctors, and this is
they have good intentions.
That's what I'm gonna say.
However, they're indoctrinated into a bad modality.
That's what I was gonna say. The flip side is if you never thought outside of this realm and you grew up into that, you want to help people. You want, but you don't realize what you're really doing.
You know, I learned that because I had an ex that was going through like PA school, physician assistant.
Yeah.
And she told me that doctors don't even choose what practice they go into. Like, let's say like all your life you want to be a brain surgeon, but you get to the thing and only, I could be wrong, but I think the top of the class like can choose. But let's just say you graduate mid-pack. Oh, you're a foot doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
So yeah, that's what I'm like. Yo, that is crazy.
It doesn't.
So anytime I look at a doctor, I'm like, do you want to be here?
And here's the thing. Here's the thing that I was talking to you about, the complexity part, right? So intelligence is making something complex simple. What they are doing is dividing you into all these specialist doctors.
Yeah.
But it's not the heart, it's not the foot, it's not that, it is the entire system. That is holistic medicine. It's the entire system, and all they do is refer you, well, I don't work on the veins, I only work on the heart, so let me refer you to my friend so he can steal your money too. And then you go over there and then they give you prescriptions, and make money, big pharma.
But you still gotta pay me.
$500. You still owe me $500 for telling you to go over there.
and then everyone who has insurance is like, well, it's not that bad because I have insurance. Yeah, well, why did I have to pay insurance in the first place if they're never going to heal me? They have no cures, no nothing. So then they just throw you around in a ring around the rosy,
not to
all
mention,
over the place.
Oh, it's not that bad because I have insurance, but I only have insurance because I do this job that I hate because it gives me insurance. When it's like most people, they'll tell you, oh, I got this, but I got good benefits. It's like, why do you need those benefits?
I was just going to say, like, when a job is like, yeah, there's good benefits here, we have medical, I'm like, that has nothing to do with me. That is not a benefit for me.
I don't ever want to go to the doctor. Like, why would I do that?
I've been to the doctor probably twice in my life. And they were like for actual emergencies.
Yeah, my job gives me health benefits and stuff. And like I was opting out, but then when Steph tore her knee, I definitely signed up.
But that's how they get you. I feel you. But the thing is,
but I do reckless stuff, so it's like, all right, maybe.
But
I
the thing
need
is,
it. But
go ahead.
Seeing her go through her medical stuff, you know, before she even got the surgery, she was probably like a couple G's in debt, maybe more. I think the surgery itself was maybe like 10 G's, something crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
And she owes like 2 or 3.
That's the thing. It should not cost that much.
It shouldn't cost that much.
But they've designed the economy and tried to create the system that way. So that you have to get insurance.
Right, because the insurance, they're only making that much money because they know the insurance will pay.
Exactly.
It's so crazy. I think about it. They be like, oh, don't worry about it. It was going to be $800 for a sock. Oh, but don't worry about it. You're going to pay $50 and the insurance is going to pay the rest. It's cool.
It's just
I'm like, it's not cool because somebody got to pay that, dog.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And on top of that, people still, you know, when you have these conversations with, you know, people out and about, they don't want to believe that it's as simple as what you're eating. Nobody wants to believe it. Even my family, right? I love my family to death, obviously. And even my mom and my dad still to this day think I'm crazy for every time they say something, be like, are you eating fruits? And like they complain about all this and that. And I'm like, well, if you eat a couple mangoes, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously not a couple. Like you need to, that's the thing too. You say eat fruits and then people are like, oh yeah, I eat fruits. Like I had an apple yesterday, and it's like no.
No. The thing is, I think the thing is people consider fruit snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't even consider them food. It's like no. When I say eat fruit, we're talking about your meal is fruit.
Right.
A whole watermelon.
Yeah.
Or half a watermelon, depending on how big
a whole one.
I don't know. Half a watermelon for me.
I can eat a whole.
That's one meal, but they associate it separate, and then they go into. And then they also say, oh, well, that's a lot of sugar. Yeah. But yet they're sitting here eating bread, which is a complex carbohydrate, which is complex sugar.
Yeah.
It's way more sugar in bread. because they're
And it's a
associating
different type of sugar.
Yeah, they're associating the sweetness with sugar, and that's incorrect. First of all, fruit is a simple sugar, and it has fructose. Vegetables have glucose, the simplest sugar. Now, they try and teach you, this is a whole another deception in the Rockefeller-funded curriculum of the medical community, is that they try and tell you that everything is transferred into glucose, and that glucose uses a transport protein to go into the cell to use it as energy. It's been proven by Dr. Robert Morse, who I learned all my stuff from, that people with diabetes who are lacking the insulin, which is the carrier protein that carries the glucose into the cells, which is why you have a high blood sugar or whatever, because the insulin, you don't have insulin. Your pancreas isn't producing insulin. So fructose doesn't need insulin because it's different. Your blood sugar will spike a little bit in the beginning because you just consumed it, but then it'll stable out. And eventually, since you're not using the insulin that's needed from your pancreas is getting rest, and you're eating fructose, and the fructose is going into the cells. So, and then it eventually has time to then heal the pancreas, and then eventually you'll heal the insulin creation aspect of that pancreas, and then your diabetes is gone at that point. But they don't want you to know, because it's all about lowering your consciousness and controlling you for whatever sick reason that they have it. Because if you go ahead,
No, I was just gonna be sarcastic about it. Keep going.
no, because the way they try and
He's like, okay, yeah, don't be sarcastic. Let me finish.
so like to pretty much explain to you where I'm coming from, because I don't know how have you ever told him about
We've touched. We talked plenty, but like. We've talked plenty about plenty, but haven't gotten too far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I've even looked into Dr. Robert Morse a little bit and stuff. Yeah. Even Dr. Sebi and all stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I eat my sea moss and all that good stuff.
Yeah?
You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Try to eat
guys.
at least a smoothie a day.
There's a friend of mine that sells sea moss.
Me too.
Her Instagram is Moss Mommy. She gets natural sea moss and stuff like that.
Okay. We
What's
usually
sea
just
moss,
buy it
man?
off Amazon and just make the gel ourselves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Word,
yeah.
yeah.
That's what's up.
I know somebody coming up in the CMOS game myself.
So let me explain to you.
Hold on,
go ahead,
before you
ahead.
go, because remember that.
I'm about to go out.
I know. That's why I like remember that. But the reason I bring it up is because I just want to knock this thought out so I can start fresh. But the thing about the parents is like they come over all the time, and and I got 2 little girls. Their grandbaby, and they want to feed them everything and give them snacks and this and that. And we'll be like, they can't eat that. They can't eat that. They don't eat that. And then they think we're crazy and not giving them nothing. And then they offer it, right? My mom or my dad would be like, oh, you want this? And then they're like, obviously the kid's like, yeah. And then I got to be the bad guy. I'd be like, no, they can't eat that.
Yeah.
And like, for example, it's always something, right? But this last time, my parents know how we are, right? They think we're a pain in the ass. They're like, oh yeah, they don't eat shit. You go to their house, the first
Meanwhile, they're eating shit.
Yeah.
They don't eat shit. But we're eating all shit.
Yeah, bro. And they'll come over, and they come to their house. Every time they come over, they bring groceries. Because they know that they're going to need groceries for whatever they have at the house. Because there's no milk, there's no sugar, there's none of that. So they'll try to make coffee. Last time they came for Jayla's birthday, and they were like, oh, everybody want coffee? Who wants coffee? And obviously, none of the people who live there want coffee. But they're all getting coffee. And then they're like, you guys got milk? And every time we look at them, like, we don't have milk. Like, no, we don't drink that. So they're like, Ave Maria. And look at these guys. Oh, let me guess. And I'm like, well, you could just have some strawberries. We got strawberries, we got fruits, we got mangoes, we got cantaloupe, we got honeydew, we got grapes. What do you need? We got it all. Oranges, like apples,
Smoothies.
and then they're just like, I need something that's gonna fill me up.
Yeah.
And it's like
you're
filled up.
People are addicted.
Yeah.
People are addicted to that feeling of feeling full.
Yeah.
And that's actually
you
a
know
bad
the
thing.
feeling.
Yeah.
I do know the feeling. But
Wait, real quick, because I'm not done yet. My Jessica's dad does the same thing, bro. And because he's a truck driver.
Yeah.
He was in the Navy. He retired from the Navy. Now he's a truck driver. And his favorite thing to eat is Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh my God.
I don't think
yeah.
I've eaten
And
Burger King in over 8-9 years.
And every
To be honest.
time he says something about anything, or like, I'm just like, well, are you eating fruits? Or he's like, oh, it's disgusting. Like, although hell no, I'm not eating no fruits.
Disgusting?
Well, I'm exaggerating, but basically he doesn't like that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Like he
That's
doesn't eat
crazy.
it. And my parents might, but even my parents pretty much react the same way. They might drink it or whatever, but to them they're just kind of like, what's that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't think anytime that anything is going on physically, Like, you don't think this has to do with your food. And they'll be like, why would it have to do with my food? Like, basically, that's basically what they're saying. And it's like it's like if you have a car and your car takes gas and you're putting in diesel. Or you're putting in potatoes, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you're producing a bad thing. Like, it's just, it's
you're like, why is it not operating right? I don't understand.
And then, well, now
you're not putting gasoline in.
And now the popular culture thing is, now when you turn 50, you should be not in good shape. You know what I mean?
Dad bod.
Like, that's like beyond. I feel like I got a dad bod.
I got a dad bod.
You got like a dad of 4 bod. I got like first dad bod.
But what I'm saying is, it's embrace. You know what I'm saying?
But then they do that, and then they're like, you're in your 50s, 60s, and you're like, damn, like, I can't go nowhere. I can't do this. I can't do that. And it's heartbreaking, because it's like, you should be living your life. Like, you should be able to do everything. Like, and it's just your food, bro. Like, your food and your physical activity.
They don't understand, because there's people that complain about their life and their experience, where it's like, oh, I can't walk down the street. Oh, I can't run. Oh, I can't go hiking. Oh, I can't go swimming. I can't do all these things. They're complaining about it, but they don't want to do the thing that's going to fix that, which is to eat fruits and stop eating this trash. So they're like, oh, well, no, I can't give up meat. No, I can't give up this. It's like, okay, so if you had a choice between you being able to walk and you being able to not walk, which one are you choosing? Walking. Okay, so this is what you have to do to do it. I was like, oh, well, no, I can't do that. But if you looked at it just as that, where you're just putting it into identifying the two options and way to live, then they're like, oh, yeah, of course I would choose that. Yeah. Okay, well, this is how you do it. I was like, oh, well, no, now I can't do it.
Yeah.
That, and why also not? They don't feel the immediate result. So, like,
true.
if you got a headache and you take a Tylenol, maybe in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you might feel a little better. You didn't fix anything, but you might feel a little better.
I've never taken a Tylenol in my life, so I don't even know.
I have before. I don't anymore, but I have before. But then you think, okay, you have these problems. Listen, bro, for the next 3-4 weeks, listen, we need to eat like 90% fruit. 85 at least minimum, and then you eat your first week of fruit and you're struggling because it's hard to do, and then you don't feel better. If anything, and maybe that first few days you feel worse because you're going through these cravings, and then you're like, and then you think, oh, this fruit shit is bad. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't feel good. And it's like, bro, you have a lot of shit going wrong that you got to clear out. You got to clear that. It's like if you go to clean out a hoarder's house, like you get in there and start cleaning, nothing good is happening, bro. Yeah. You got messes
but
everywhere.
It's also like, if you were to lift up the couch and then you sweep up all this trash from underneath it, and because it came out to the surface and everyone can see it, you're like, oh no, this is a bad thing. Let me put it back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what they're doing when you're eating fruits, and your body's like, okay, let me bring this to the surface so I can get it out.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the surface, they get scared. They go to the hospital. They take medicine to suppress it. That's all medicine does.
Yeah.
Medicine suppresses it. So if you're feeling a cold and flu symptoms, mucus, fever, coughing, sneezing, all this stuff, what is your body trying to do? It's trying to give you a fever, but to sweat out the toxins in your body, the cellular waste from your body. It's trying to get you to sneeze it out with the mucus. It's trying to get you to use the bathroom and pee it out or crap it out. Like, it's trying to do that, because then when it's finished, now you can be normal. But what you do is they take a medicine, suppress that immune response that the lymphatic system is having, to try and be like, okay, enough's enough, bro. We're trying to get this out so we can relax. But then you took that medicine, it's like, oh, great, thanks. And then it throws it in the corner and says, well, we can't get this out now because we have all this stuff to handle. And then 20 years goes down the line, and then you wonder why you have cancer, because all that crap has never been able to get out, because you're constantly taking medicine and it's constantly suppressing it, and you keep reaching this certain level of bad food and cellular waste in your body to the point where you'll get tumors, cysts, all these things, which I was going to go into explain to you, so you have kind of a foundation of how the body works. So there's pretty much 4 processes on how the body works, right? So there's digestion, 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 absorption, utilization, and elimination. Probably 99% of the issues that are with humans right now is because of the elimination process, which is our lymphatic process. But the first thing would be whatever you drink or eat, you consume it, goes down to the stomach, it digests it. The pancreas, the liver, and the gallbladder help to help it go to the intestines. Then the intestines absorbs it, whatever's left. So through this digestion process, right, it depends on what you ate. So if you ate meat, it needs hydrochloric acid to break those complex proteins down into usable substance. that it can actually use. So it's like it's like trying to build a new house with a burnt down houses, whatever's remnants of that house, whatever good wood is left. Because you just put hydrochloric acid and destroyed this whole meat that you ate, and it's literally completely destroyed and broken down, and you're trying to use whatever's left over from that digestive process for your body to use. It's the same thing. And then if you build a house out of that, what is that? It's going to be weak house. You're just same reason why your muscles will be weaker. This is why animals that are herbivores that eat plants, which have the plants have amino acids and not complex proteins. They can run forever. Meanwhile, meat eaters like lions can only sprint, and that's why they're always trying to sneak up, because they can't handle the oxes and all these herbivores, because they can run until they die. So once it gets that digestive process, it has like vegetable, whatever it is, it digests it, everything has a different process. And then it gets to the point where it goes to the small intestines, and then it absorbs it. However, depending on what you eat, like eating a lot of gluten or things like that, which is derivative of like glue-like substance, which is why it's called gluten, it can stick to the intestines. And now it's messing with your absorption. So you're not even able to absorb the food that you're eating after whatever the process was for it. Now it can't even absorb it. So it's maybe some spots it's absorbing just a little bit because you're eating all this trash, all this stuff that's getting blocked up on the outsides of the insides of the intestines. So then it's absorbing whatever. Now your glands are utilizing what was absorbed, if anything was absorbed after that process. Then it's using those minerals or nutrients that was after that process to utilize it to to create hormones, to turn on your body, to give you electricity in the nervous system, to feed your brain, to go to the blood, and the blood then goes to feed all the cells, all the things that you ate and it absorbed. So the blood feeds to the cells, and then after it's absorbing and utilizing it, and the blood's feeding there, now that's all your cells eating. So what you ate, it breaks it down to the simplest form so that your cells can use it. Now, when your cell uses it, your cells are also conscious things too. They are alive. And it's just a simple form of you. And they have elimination. So they have stools too, which is cellular waste, which is what you're peeing out. That's what you're peeing out is cellular waste. So that is eliminated into the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system is the sewer system of the body. This is what 99% of the problems that's going on in the medical community.
Lymph nodes.
Lymph nodes, all that. So it goes into the lymphatic system, which is all throughout your body. Then it carries it. That stool is about a 3.5 pH, right? Which is very hot, which is actually the same as soda, and they've convinced us that it's refreshing. But that's a whole nother thing. So the lymphatic system...
As he sips a beer,
he's like, an experience.
It's acidic.
It's an
You're
experience.
right. That does sound acidic.
That does.
It's an experience.
He's like,
it is refreshing.
But so the lymphatic system goes to the lymph nodes, which it has macrophages, and other things too. Which macrophages are
I was gonna say you can't say that word.
Organisms that break down cells. So if you have damaged cells, it brings it to the lymph nodes, and the macrophages are organisms that eat the cell and break it down. That's like the trash dumpers. They eat that. So then, so the lymph node brings the pH to 6, supposed to around 6, and this is what allows you to be able to pee without it hurting. People that have uric acid and stuff like that, their lymph nodes don't work. So they're peeing out that 3.5 around pH, and it's hurting them because it's hot.
Or they have gonorrhea.
I heard it's crazy.
I heard it's crazy.
So those are the 4 processes, which is digestion, absorption, utilization, and elimination. Now, when I say that elimination is the source of all the issues, when you have a tumor, let's just start off with pimples. So you have a pimple, it's white pus, that's lymphatic fluid coming out of your skin because it's not able to filter to the kidneys. So the lymphatic system filters through the kidneys and then goes out through your bladder, and then you pee it out. But if it's not able to do that, where does it go? Because you're the more complex foods that you eat, and the more food that the body doesn't want, and
trying to push that out.
It's creating more and more trash, and it's creating traffic within the lymphatic system. So then it's saying, well, I can't get this out. The best thing I can do is shove it in this corner. The same way lazy people clean their room and they just put everything into the corner. That's what your body's doing, and is because it can't do anything, it can't get it out, it can't properly clean it. So then that's a tumor. Then it starts growing more and more, and then after years, it starts that. Remember, the lymphatic system is 3.5 pH if it didn't go through your lymph nodes. So we're talking about a very hot cellular waste just chilling in your body in one area for a long period of time. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to deteriorate your body. So depending on where that is in your body, it starts deteriorating the cells in that area. So let's say it's in your back, right? And it's stagnant in your back. It's deteriorating the connective tissue around the spine, which is what creates scoliosis, which is what creates herniated discs. This is what creates bone spurs as well. Bone spurs are just calcifications, which is of calcifications because you're so acidic. Because what it's doing is calcium is on the base side of chemistry, and it's drawing the calcium from the connective tissues of the in that area, which is holding the structure of your body up. It's drawing that connective tissue, the calcium from it, and then it's making that connective tissue weak. Because it's trying to survive. Your body's always trying to be in a homeostasis. And the best thing it's doing is like, well, we don't know what to do. This guy is wild and he's eating all this crazy shit. So let's draw the calcium from these bones around this area to try and at least cool it down. Let's try and cool it down. And then that creates bone spurs. That creates prolapsed organs. And like the transverse bowel could be prolapsed because it's very acidic there and it's drawing all the calcium. So all your organs get out of place. And so that's an example of that. So then what they refer to as cancer, which is really just the decay of cells, the mutation of a cell, because the acidic waste, the acidosis is so bad that it gets intracellular. It goes into the cell, and it creates a mutation, and it's just decaying from the inside of the cell. This is what cancer is. What they refer to as cancer is, and then they try and claim it's like something you magically you catch. Oh man, I magically created cancer. It wasn't the cookies you ate for 30 years or the Spanish food that you eat 3 times a day, huge extra rice, which I'm guilty of.
He goes to a restaurant like, oh, yeah, let me get a triple rice. whatever amount you give, triple it.
So they're like, so those are all the problems. That any issue you can think of, almost any problem you can think of, would be because of the lymphatic system, and it's because of what you're eating, and it's creating too much acid waste in your body that it's not able to get rid of it. So it's literally deteriorating your body from the inside. So
man,
he's like, I gotta digest all that.
Man, I gotta drink a beer to that
one. you actually reminded me. I forgot what I was gonna say about the kids, the grandparents and kids thing. But one of the funnier parts of it is that my dad, right, will be like, oh no, we brought good snacks for Jayla. We're giving her good snacks, and we brought it's like a pack of like Hispanic coffee, crackers. Yeah. And if you're a person who eats bad stuff or sweet stuff, you look at it and it just looks like a regular cracker, like a regular beige cracker, like this big. But then you look at the ingredients and he's like, no, these are healthy. There's no sugar in this. Because he's saying that because it looks like a regular cracker. But the first, you look at the ingredient list, 50 high fructose corn syrup. First ingredient, like, no, man, she can't eat this. He's like, oh, it's healthy. It's healthy. It's like, no, man. We forgot to tell him last time he was at the house. So I'm gonna have to tell him next time, like, do not give her these crackers, bro. It's like the one. It's like the only thing we have to worry about when we leave the kids with the grandparents. What are they giving them? What are they giving them?
That's the sad part, is when it's your family.
Yeah.
And like for me, it's like, okay, I know the solution, but they're just always going to look at me as a son or whatever.
The crazy one.
The identity of it.
The quack.
Of what they see you as. They're like, if I had a white coat and I was in an office and I told them, they would be like, oh man, this guy.
Well, but they'd have to also know you went to school for like 13 years.
Exactly. But
after high school.
In reality, what that schooling did was indoctrinate you into a whole bunch of BS that confused you, and you're just acting like you know what you're talking about and explaining all this complex shit that no one knows what the hell you're talking about. And then you're like, yeah, I'm really intelligent because I know how to explain complex shit that doesn't make sense because you can't break it down on the simplest form. Because if you did, you'd be talking about what I did.
Plus, even when they go to prescribe you something, if you think back to any time that you've been prescribed something or gone to the doctor, they're mostly like, well, I say we're gonna try you on this. I'm gonna have you.
They don't.
I'm gonna try you on this. Take this for let's say 2 weeks. What do you think? 2 weeks? Try this for
Hold
2
on,
weeks.
let me call John D. Rockefeller. Hey, you think 2 weeks on this?
Come in for 2 weeks, and we'll see how you're doing. And if not, maybe I'll give you something else.
Bro, that makes me think of like mental like medication,
Yeah.
like depression medication
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. Like Steph had got some stuff, and like I guess it was like a month when she was supposed to see her therapist again, and she was supposed to take this medicine. And she was like, "Yeah, I don't really like how it makes me feel, but I gotta keep taking it. I can't take it until I'm like."
Like it's like, oh hell no!
Wait, what?
If you don't, that's like that one. That's like that inner gut stuff. Like, bro, if you don't think you should be taking something, don't do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that's how I get. Man, even with my kids, you know what I mean? Like my kids not being vaccinated with anything. Like this is before this nonsense in 2020, right? Like
What
we
nonsense?
they didn't get any vaccinations, right? And at first, sometimes I was like, damn. Sometimes I have moments of doubt, you know what I mean? And talk to Jessica about it too and be like, damn, like, are we doing the right thing? Even though you know what you know and you've learned what you learned, but you're just like, I
It's
just don't want to be, you don't want to be
yeah.
wrong,
Mhm.
right? Because
Yeah.
it's somebody that you love and you care about, and no matter what you learn and know, you never know.
Yeah.
Even
And-
if you know it 100%,
And something
because they're so good at manipulation, you still even second guess it. Like
Yeah.
if I can tell you this is 100% fact, and just like I'm the only one doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the same way as being like a leader. Like it's like there's no one to reassure me.
Yeah.
I just have to make this decision, and that's
Yeah.
it. It makes sense. I know it's true, and it's still even a hesitation.
And for us, it came down to, look, at the end of the day, it's a hard decision, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
and everybody's got to make it. And that's why I really don't judge people for the decisions they make, because you can only make a decision with the information you have at that time and how you feel about it. And it's your life and your family. And for me, it came down to, man, like, God forbid anything went wrong one way or the other, right? I'd rather at least, I think, because I don't know, but I think I'd rather, if something went wrong, know that it wasn't because I put something in there, or I approved somebody to put something in there. You know what I mean? That it was just like an act of God, let's say. You know what I mean? Where it's like, damn, but at the end of the day, it was like, that's how I had to make the decision at the end. Like, I know what I know, but how would I feel worse, this way or this way?
Yeah.
That like what he's talking about is like the reason why I get really passionate when like I'm talking about something like medical corruption is because on the surface you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm just talking about regular people that are sick and this and that. Like, I'm talking about, no, you are destroying people's lives.
Yeah.
You are destroying children's lives. You are disintegrating the DNA, the natural genetics of human life
Yeah.
to all next generations.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't piss you off, it's like, okay, so what the hell would piss you off?
Yeah.
Because, and it's just the only reason why people aren't pissed off is because they don't know. But if you knew, in my head, there was a grand conspiracy to control, enslave, and medically kill all these people, most people, then you would be angry that this is happening. But if you don't understand that, then you're not going to be angry, of course, because you don't understand it. But if I know what I just explained to you about health, right? And they're telling you, take this prescription. Why? And they're telling you, get some insurance. Why? Unless I'm doing like breaking my leg or something. But that's a whole nother issue.
Or something.
But yeah, like, let's take chemo, which people don't die from cancer. People die from chemo.
Yeah.
Chemo is radiation, literally radiation.
Sounds crazy, right?
And they're saying, okay, so what I told you about cancer, right, cancer is that the cellular waste ends up going into the cell and creates a mutation as decaying the cell from the inside. If you knew that that's what it was, what are you talking about the cancer spread? How does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are you saying that it's an alive thing that's just invading your body? That's not what it is. They didn't even start reusing the word cancer until like I think the mid 1900s. They didn't even use the word cancer. And it's a new thing. I think it was in the 80s. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But like, what are you talking about? And then you're sitting there saying, oh well, this radiation is going to help you. How is the radiation going to help you? By frying everything else around that whole thing?
Yeah.
Because it's already fried. And now you're destroying everything around it. making it worse. This is why people lose their hair because
yeah.
the radiation is literally destroying your cells. The reason why you lose hair on your head or get gray hair is because a lack of blood going to the hair follicle.
Mm-hmm.
So when the lymphatic system, which is 3.5 pH, is sitting there and it's stagnant, it's disintegrating your hair follicle.
Mm-hmm.
And now the hair follicle is not there anymore. It destroyed it. So now you don't have any hair growing there. And that's what they're doing when you're using radiation. And then they're killing people and these doctors actually have good intentions and they've been tricked to think that they're actually helping people. That's the sad part. Is they actually think they're helping you. Like, that is sad.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally destroying everybody's lives and making them suffer more, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. I mean, that can happen to a lot of people.
And you went to over 10 years of school.
Yeah.
10 years of school.
But I think that's part of the problem, too, because that's what school does to a lot of people, right? It doesn't allow you to think for yourself.
It teaches you how to think.
It tells you what to think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, well, that's same thing. I know that's what you meant, but like that, you get in this zone where people who are you can get too educated to the point where you think everything is just bam, black or white. Whatever this textbook says, who was written by other people, you're like, this hands down is what it is, as opposed to looking at it from a problem solving analytical perspective and taking information from other sources as opposed to only taking them from the textbook. Like, I'm not saying that all textbooks are wrong and bad, but you need to be able to apply exercises just like you guys do with computers. You know what I mean? Like, not every computer problem is the same. You have to use information from other places.
Y'all ever heard of knees over toes guy?
Yo, yeah. That dude's he's a legend.
That dude's this guy got a crush over
my
here.
My fault, man. I love guys who speak the truth. My fault.
Yeah.
Like, knees over toes guy.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, I heard on one interview where like cause you kind of know his story, how like he kind of tore his knee up and like, but he got better and was able like to play college ball or whatever. Like, the college trainer person wouldn't allow him to do his workouts that got him to that point in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Because he's so locked into what, like, oh, no, that's not right. Yeah. But
like, you ain't even doing it around him.
He's literally the example of why it is right, you know?
Yeah. And everything he says, there's a certain point where it's like you could just hear somebody's talk and you can feel the truth radiating from them. Yeah. And what he...
Not everybody.
You can feel the lies too.
Yeah. You can do that too.
Depends on if you're calibrated properly.
Yeah,
well,
true.
Yeah.
Some people might not be calibrated.
I'm kind of gullible, so you might get me a couple times.
But yeah, knees over toes guy, I can't remember his name right now, but
yeah, I remember his name.
He's his training
knees over toes guy will do it. Everyone could find it.
You know about him? You know about
Joe
him?
Rogan.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy.
The guy.
Oh.
that other podcast.
I actually.
That's where I saw him.
I didn't mention it that time, but that's where I saw him. That's where I heard about him and seen his interview.
Yeah. It's go ahead.
No, you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
You sure? I remember that one episode. I was listening to that one episode and I was like, you sure? You stop asking me. Let's go. Now, I was gonna say it's only getting worse because we're also not spending time outside. We're not going out to just be outside and take in fresh air and get away from screens all the time.
Like playing golf.
Yeah, bro. Like you saw what that felt like today, bro.
I loved it.
Like a few hours.
You got to come to the Springs with me, bro.
Oh, I'm all about it.
Yeah,
I'm all about it.
I just bought a paddleboard. I've been trying to test it out. I haven't had any time.
Perfect.
Did you buy one?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't
That's
tell
what's
me.
up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
It was which I was I meant to say this earlier when you mentioned the jet ski trip and you were like, oh, he'd like it. I was gonna say we should put together a trip where we tell like whoever watches, like, yo, we're all gonna show up here and this is the plan, and then whoever comes out, we just go on a crazy adventure.
That would be dope.
Right?
Go to the spring or something, go kayaking, paddleboarding,
and be like, hey, we're gonna be here at this time. Whoever shows up, let's get it.
That's what I wanted to do eventually with like True Florida Experience, is have like a
like meetups.
Meetups and stuff for people that are about adventure and stuff.
I heard about you doing that. I haven't seen any of it.
I've been slacking lately because
at.
I've been focusing on the podcast.
And that comes down to time, But once this gets to the point where we can open up our time for other stuff, we got so many plans, man.
Yeah.
But the nature thing is another thing because we were also what would you say last time was probably months ago. But we had got to the point where
man.
like every other week or at least once a month, because he lives in Tampa right now. So he would drive over, and on a Sunday before I came into work, we would go for like a 4-hour hike in the woods. Like
So
just
sick.
you know, just like we would do on the
Wait, didn't you send me like photos of you guys going into hiking? a
Yeah,
long
yeah,
time
yeah,
ago?
Were we in a tree?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what we would do, bro. And we would just go out there and
Bro.
just be in the woods, bro. We would put we weren't really, other than taking pictures, you know, our phones were in our bag. We're just talking, hiking, and just chilling, bro.
Yeah.
And so many
Yeah.
people don't know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? And then you get out in the environment and you just thinking about nature and life.
It's
and-
tranquil.
Yeah.
Like, for like a lot of people are, especially people that are in the city all the time. They're constantly on the go, and their mind is always running. On top of their body's always running because of all the food they keep cramming in their body. So their food on the physical level, plus on a mental level, and then emotional level. Where it's like sometimes when you go into nature, that's one of the reasons why I have, you know, when we're doing this podcast, I'm trying to get into Utopian Training, which is creating a training modality behind fruits as a culture to like create a culture behind that of eating primarily fruits. And then True Float Experience is like the aspect of going out there and experiencing the natural world as to why the connection of the planet and the universe. Like that's the natural side of it. This is to teach you that we're part of this. So it's like there's that's why I have these multiple things I'm trying to do. It creates that whole consciousness like collectively of it.
We're just waiting
Fucks with
on
it.
we're just waiting on Chris to go fruits first.
Yeah.
Once he goes fruits, he said he wanted to be.
I'll be your first athlete on fruits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to do it pretty soon. But-
Well,
so
I'm
we could both do it
actually
at the same
planning
time.
like this week. I want to do like a day all fruits. I want to
Day.
get to where
Well,
I can
that's
do
a good
week.
challenge for you too, Chris.
Yeah, I
I do that all the time. So
I want to get to the point where I can
One
do
day
a
is easy.
week, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
start
yeah.
out with a day.
Yeah. The most I've done, I think, was 18 days.
No,
wow.
no,
Oh,
no,
what,
no.
yours
no.
was 18?
Yours was 14 days.
No,
Mine was
chill.
16
It was
days.
at least, no, I think yours was 18, mine was 16.
And I was at least one day over
Mine was
you.
in 14. I went
Mine
more
was-
than 2 weeks.
well,
so
let's
I
say
was 16
15.
and you were 18, I'm pretty sure.
I want to say I was 16.
He specifically tried to go 2 days after me over
and,
my record.
and he doesn't have my record. And I was surprised. I thought as soon as I was done, he was going to be like, "Oh hell no,
Yeah.
I'm going now." And it's been 7
So
years.
Here's
And
Nah,
especially
dude, it's
for
only
a
been
person like
4 years.
for a person
Almost 4 3 years.
for a person that's years is bad. But for a person like him too, because you're behind a computer all day, bro.
Yeah.
like he's IT, bro. So that's
Yeah.
all he does. And then
Yeah.
and that's one of the barbers I work with, Gonzo. Shout out Gonzo. He does IT just like you did. But he was in the Navy. He got out. Now he works with a contractor for the military, and that's his main job. And then he cuts too. But for you, are you stuck at the desk all day?
Yeah, I'm at the desk, but
So
I
when
don't
you-
snack much.
But when you get up, you feel like stretching. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Your eyes are tired. You're slumped at the desk. You know what I mean? Because I remember when we worked at a desk, my body did
I
not
still
feel
do.
good at the end of the day.
Do you use? Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I fuck off a lot. That's all I was gonna say.
Okay, so do you use blue light glasses?
I don't.
No,
I don't.
no.
I got
Do you feel it in your eyes when you're?
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do.
Because I feel it a
Yeah.
lot more than I used to, for sure.
Yeah,
like
sometimes I do.
the glasses make a huge
Oh
difference.
yeah.
bet.
Once you start
Huge
using them
difference.
often, and then you take them off, you're like, oh, I can't do this shit.
Yeah, I
And
bet.
that's another aspect of like health on an external level of external things affecting you.
Yeah.
Because all of the electronics that we have, they don't take into account the frequencies that and the EMF waves that are affecting your body.
Yeah.
So like you can stare. This is why people are red eyes when they're these gamers, especially.
Yeah.
They're staring at the screen super close to a huge TV screen.
Yeah.
And their eyes are red as hell. Why? Because it's inflamed.
Yeah.
Because the
Fried.
EMF waves are frying your eyes.
Bro, I remember, bro. There's another thing I wanted to say, but you just reminded me of this. When I was in 5th grade, when I was playing PS2, Grand Theft Auto Vice City just came out. Right? Grand Theft Auto. Remember Vice
He
City,
went on a
bro?
That was the
bender
last
Friday
Grand Theft Auto I
night.
played.
Bro, Grand Theft Auto Vice City was like when they went to like, it was next level.
Yeah.
And I played so long that night. I had school in the morning. And I remember my mom telling me before I went to bed, like, go to bed. Go to bed. And I was like, I got this, man. I just playing. I don't even know how long. For a long ass time.
Never know.
And my mom went to wake me up the next morning. I literally could not open my eyes. I literally, like, they were like stuck shut. And to the point where I was trying to cry, but I couldn't because my eyes wouldn't open. And my mom, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm blind, I can't see. I went under the water, bro. It hurt. Like I've never experienced that before, and I'll never forget the feeling of not being able to open my eyes.
Wow.
But I'm with you
That's
on the computer
level of acidity.
It is. But then I was in 5th grade. So now when I think about it, I don't even like being on the computer at all.
Bro,
like when I work on a computer, I know what you mean.
I love computer, but I don't
Me
like
too.
staring at the screen and hurting my eyes.
But when I work, like let's say when we did a desk job, right, and you're on the computer all day, then when you go home, going on the computer for
Are you
other
talking
stuff.
about working on the computer?
No.
Okay,
Well, I mean both. Because when
okay.
I work on a computer, then I go home. Being on a computer doesn't bother me as much. But now that I don't have to be on a computer for anything, if I have to go, let's say I'm doing something for the podcast, being on my computer is like a chore.
Really?
Like I don't want to be on there. I just want to not be on it.
For
I
me,
feel you.
after working on computers and dealing with dumbass computers all day, the last thing I want to see when I get home is a fucking computer. But
Well, what has your experience been like going? Because I wanted to do comm when I went into the military, which is communications for those who couldn't figure that out. And I didn't do anything near that. So because that's something that obviously is very lucrative once you get out.
yeah.
And that's why I wanted to do it. So for you, what was not being a computer guy, I guess, before you went in?
Not at all.
What was it like to be like, oh, I'm a computer tech in the military? Like, you know what I mean? And then obviously getting out, like, what was that experience
I
like?
still think about that now because like I'm from Alabama, so black hair from Alabama is not much I can be in my head. You know what I'm saying? And so even when I got that job, I didn't exactly know it was client system technician. I was like, all right, I'd be working on computers or something. I'm still out here training, working hard. We was doing like our the DEP program or whatever before you joined. Like I was up there with the guys who was going to special forces. I'm running their times. I'm doing their amount of push-ups.
Show off.
You know, it's crazy. I'm overtraining for
Meanwhile,
Air Force
Philby was
basic
in the
training.
back, last of his class.
I passed.
So
Chris is on the
1 second.
sidelines.
1 second in the.
Chris is on the sidelines eating chips. Like, wow, these guys are going to the military.
So I get to tech school, I'm learning about all this stuff, and I'm like just trying to make it make sense to me because at that point, all I knew was turn on the computer and type in facebook.com. That's all I knew, right?
Yeah.
And I'm learning all this stuff, how it goes deeper than I ever even imagined. And then I remember asking a question like, yo, so how do we know that this is actually what happened, is what's happening when these two computers are talking? Like, how do you know that? It was like, oh, it's all theory. I'm like, bro. So there's nothing concrete about it. It's all maybe, you know?
I mean, that applies to almost every subject, to be
Yeah,
honest.
true. And I was ignorant, but once I got older, I kind of anyway.
Yeah.
So I get to my first base, and like one of the best IT guys is this black guy, and I'm like, damn, black people can do this. All right, cool. So, and I'm seeing him, he's trying to take these tests and stuff and all this, and this first test was a CCNA test.
At this process, mad late. Like, oh, another black dude.
Yeah, like, but that's legit was my thinking. Like, it was so close-minded, and that's one thing I really appreciate the military for. Like, it opened my eyes to the world, you know. And seeing him trying to take that, and like, to me, I was never gonna be as smart as him. And seeing him struggling with that test, I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna be able to take that test. But I passed that test back in like 2019, like the year I separated from the military. I passed that CCNA test. Now the test I just passed this like a couple weeks ago. It's called CCNP. It's the next step up from that test. I never thought I'd pass CCNA. Now I'm on the cusp because there's one more test to get the full CCNP. Never even fathom I would be at this level of IT, and it feels really good. And like my family's really proud and all that stuff. It's really dope, and I'm just trying to embrace it and make the best of it. But at the same time, I'm addicted to dirt bikes.
Yeah.
You know?
But what does that mean when you say that you're at a level that you never thought you'd be? And in the world of IT, what does that level look like? Like, what is it that your role? Because to me, when you say IT, I'm just like, that motherfucker
Like
work
a
on
level
computers.
of understanding, or
A level of understanding and being qualified on paper for certain roles, because it's different. Because you got your call center folks, the people you call, and they got a script in front of them telling them everything they need to do.
Yeah.
And then they're sending the ticket to folks like me that actually know how the system works. And I got to figure out why it's not
Okay.
working. So you got like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3.
So what? So on that note, obviously I know there's stuff you can't talk about because of clearance and stuff. But what is it that you do? Like, are your main thing that you regularly go?
What I do, I make sure that the phones, computers, the printers, and all that stuff can talk on the network. So let's say you come into work one day and you can't log in. You get in this red error. It may be my problem in my field where like I need to go and see why. Oh, your computer's not getting an IP address. Why is it not getting an IP address?
You go basically behind the curtains in the computer to see what part is not, like you said, what part's not communicating.
Correct.
I got you. Like, oh,
Correct.
okay.
So it sounds like I'm gonna have to hire you as my director of IT, and when my businesses go to a whole nother level.
I'm willing to get to that level, but what's crazy is I know my job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I probably could, but if you had like a couple switches over there and you wanted me to create a network in here, I mean, I probably could, something that simple, but for the, like when it comes to like home IT with Wi-Fi and all that stuff, it gets to a level to where even I would be worthless.
But that, do you
know?
Go ahead.
No, because I was gonna say, because like my vision for like in the future for Utopian Training, which is one of the businesses I'm trying to do, is to have an ideal gym that infuses nature with modern technology as well. So it's
That'd
like
be cool.
it feels like you're in outdoors, but it also feels like you're in a futuristic gym and at the same time. And so you're like running on a treadmill and a coconut can fall on your head or something like that. And
Or a track with sand.
that too.
That'd be sick.
So
That'd be
so like what I wanted there, one of my ideas was having a user interface at every station where like you can key in, like let's say you know how you scan it for like LA Fitness or something like that. So like you say every station you go and you scan it, and this is optional, obviously. You would scan it, boom, and then it'll have a very user and quick interface to be like, let's say you're on bench, even on just the bench, and we're like, it already measures the weight for you. It already knows how much weight is on it. Do you want to record this? Yes.
Yeah.
How many reps are you doing? Boom. And then or how many reps you did after you do it.
Yeah.
Boom. Then you just do that. And it uploads to like a system where you can go online later and you have your login for Utopian Training login, and then it tracks all the things you did by you just going there and just entering in, and you don't even need to think about it. And you can end up using that service on the website and logging in to like create workout plans.
Yeah.
And then you can see your progress. And then creating a system and a network with that.
Gotcha. See, what's cool about IT is that it's so many different avenues you can go to. And that sounds like more of a software thing.
But you don't feel like you could easily cross over into those where you're at now?
Depending, probably not. I mean, it just depends. It really depends on what you're interested in.
Okay.
Because you could be to where all you want to do is make apps, but you don't care if the computer this app is on can talk to the other computer. That's my job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your job is to make sure the app works.
Is that what,
you know?
So if someone asked you, if I was in IT and we were talking, I was like, oh, what do you do?
Yeah.
Then you would say client systems.
I'm on networks. I'm networks.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm servers. Oh, okay,
Gotcha.
cool.
Nah,
Oh,
I ain't
okay,
no-
I'm desktop.
I'm not servers, bro.
Yeah.
I'm
then
hardware.
You got software, you know what I'm saying? You got
hardware.
you got wireless, you got Wi-Fi, you know?
All hardware, baby. No, that's fire, man.
But yeah, you're looking more of an app server type situation. Now, to get all those systems talking, if they're connected wired or whatever,
Which you would need you. So we will need you on the team.
We could train you, bro.
Yeah.
Well, you could train yourself.
We're gonna have to wait for Chris to do at least 6 months of having workout in a gym before we talk about the gym he wants to create.
Oh man, but that sounds dope. That inside outside gym sounds dope. Like you got to take your shoes off, feel the grass. You know,
you
that
could do
sounds
that,
dope.
man. Ground in
imagine,
there.
imagine those. You ever walk in and you see those guys with they're doing the sled on the turf. Like they have like a strip of turf that they're pushing, except it's not turf. It's real grass.
Yeah,
real soil. You dig in there, you got earthworms and shit.
Yeah. But they say the grass get torn. I don't know what they say about that.
Well, in this one, the technology will naturally regenerate the grass every night. So
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
it's
right.
gonna be fine.
You got an app for that, huh?
Yeah, I need the networks to connect and the grass to grow.
There's so much that we want to do, man. That's like wholehearted, like
That's
wholly
dope, though.
connected, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
we got to gain some traction on one thing first, man.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, that was one thing I wanted to say. Like, yeah, IT is dope, and it gives me the access to be able to do all these things that I enjoy. But if I could figure out a way to make money or being around bikes, that'd be ideal.
You would leave.
I'll have a bike course in my gym.
word?
I'm gonna have motocross races and everything.
Cool. I'm the instructor. Sign me up.
You would leave though. You would leave computer work for a moto job if you had one that would pay you the same amount.
I would.
If you could figure out a way to get the same amount of money, you would leave.
all day long. Absolutely.
Because we talked about that at the shop the other day. Me and Manny were talking about money not buying happiness, right? That was me saying that. He disagrees. He says it does, which is a conversation I would love to have on here one day.
Absolutely.
But obviously with him here too, because I want him to argue his point. But it was a good conversation. The reason I say that is because so many people, right, they'll get in a position where you have a great job, pays a lot of money, very comfortable, so you get used to that lifestyle. But maybe, and I know you like your job, but maybe this person doesn't. And I'll say for me, when I did the corporate work, it was all right, but like I'd rather not be doing that. You know what I'm saying? And then we were talking about making good money and getting kind of stuck in that lifestyle with that comfortable job. But then let's say for me, right, be like, well, I'd rather be a barber if I could choose. But then you got to think about, well, I'm not going to make the same amount of money. You know, so it's like, oh, I can't go. I can't do what I really want because I'm not going to make enough money that I need now, because now I had this much money. Now I got all these cars. I got this house. I got this. Now I have to make this much money just to survive.
I think that was a Cowie.
And then and now I can't make the move to this other job I want to go to that, let's say I get paid $30,000 less, right? Which is a lot of money less. I go $30,000 less and I can't do that. But I would argue that I'd rather do that, right? Obviously, if I didn't have those bills that I couldn't walk away from. And because I would rather wake up every day enjoying what I'm doing as opposed to like being able to just have extra money. Because I don't want to ever wake up in the morning, which I've done plenty of times, and the first thing I think when I wake up is like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
fuck, I got to go to work.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we're both trying to do that. I mean, and you're trying to do that too. If you had that choice, like he said, because it's like my lifestyle, these things. Because he's more the one that pushed me to do the podcast, I appreciate that.
Now I'm trying to get him. You know what I'm saying?
But because I wanted to do an original podcast, but about more conspiracies and stuff like that by myself. But then obviously it's funner to do it with somebody, and whatever. So it's like that's a business, and I'm trying to create my lifestyle, which is I'm trying to have a conscious lifestyle. Obviously, I'm struggling, but a conscious lifestyle, and created them into businesses that I'm going to enjoy doing. So, Utopian Training, I used to train a lot. I enjoy that. I just haven't been doing it, but I enjoy that. I want to be healthy, so doing on fruits, talking about herbals, doing health consultations to help other people from their suffering from the medical modality to get them out of that system and get them actually living life. And then physically being able to live life. And then now with that Utopian Training, building that foundation of a physical body to be ready to experience life. You go out there and adventure. You go to what I created, which is True Florida Experience, and experience the natural world. And this also in turn helps your energy too, because you're connecting with nature and you're connecting with life. Because a lot of people that have only been in cities, they don't connect to other life, and they don't even like talking to human beings. Some people connect more with life when they're actually with animals. So, like
we were just talking about that. We were talking about cities and how life is cheap in a city because there's so much of it around. You don't feel a connection to people. And people is like, oh, fuck.
People almost getting away. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like wanting to be around, you like, dang, I want to get away from so many of them type stuff.
Because that creating that connection, it makes you realize that you're part of everything. And if you were part of everything, then you would want to protect everything. And because you wouldn't want to hurt another life because you would see that it's part of you. And It's literally that simple.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's crazy once you really take that to the max, because it literally, I know we talked about it a little bit last time how I love spiders now and like I don't want to hurt bugs and shit, which I really don't. There are times though where like I've had to like kill a bug or something, but I actually feel bad about it.
Yeah,
like I'll
I
kill
give
a
him
bug.
a chance.
I try to,
Yo,
but like,
on,
but
bro,
like,
I'm gonna have to kill you.
I
Bro.
give you that's how I feel, bro. And I give him a chance, but like, give you an example of something I'm not giving a chance to is like I open the door to my garage. And then I see a roach running. It's like, I can't take that risk. Like, you might be a pregnant roach, and I let you go, and now my house is infested, and then my wife is gonna call me, and I feel terrible. But I compare it to like I wouldn't walk into a bear's den.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that bear would kill me.
Yeah.
You know, he wouldn't kill me because he wants to kill me. It would just be like a natural event. You know, so like that's what I consider those L's for. But I don't want to kill a spider or a bug. Like I killed one in my garage a few weeks ago, and I'm literally like, I literally have to think about it for a minute and like find peace and be like, because I'm like, now I look at it as like, damn, this is a living thing. And I'm about to end its life, bro. And it actually weighs on me like that. And then I do
bow down to it, bro, and just get it done,
bro. And then and then you got to do it. But then I do it, and I'm going ham, like, because I want it to be dead. Like, I don't want it suffering. And I don't want to hit it once and then it just be like crawling. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm like crying. I'm like, just go, please.
This
like,
hurts me more than it hurts you.
That's what I want to think. But it's like, I've never been smashed by a shoe before. So, we'll see, bro. But that's where I landed on that.
My roommate used to go fishing a lot. And like, that's one reason why I kind of like straight. Cause I used to love fishing with my dad growing up and stuff, but it's like so much loss of life, and for what?
Unless you eat
literally,
unless you eat them, you know. And
I like fishing,
even if you do. What about all the wasted bait that you tried to catch this one fish? You know, and that's what messed me up.
That's a real conscious attitude where you know you're a real human being,
and
bro.
You're literally alien abducting these fish out of the water, traumatizing them mentally, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And you're like, all right, just throw them back in there. And they're just like, bro, you're never gonna believe what happened to me. And they're just like, look at this crazy fish. And he gets isolated. He never has friends his whole time in the water.
He can never go back to school again. I was just thinking about that because when you said it, because imagine all the fish in the ocean. And all the ones who have been caught and thrown back. And they'll be like the ones who we view as the crazy UFO guys.
Bro,
like,
them the ones that got too high on acid, you know, and never came back. They was just a trip and they were seeing aliens. Like, the aliens are coming, they're watching me, bro. They abducted me.
One of them, they're swimming around with one eye like, bro, I swear, look.
They're back. Beware the hooks.
The hooks?
Aye, the hooks. They dangle down and draw you close with their pleasing shapes and their beguiling colors.
Hook went right through here, bro. Came out of nowhere. I saw some shrimp. It was over.
Nah, whatever. I eat shrimp every day. Whatever, dog.
That's wild, man. I do want to go fishing, but only if it's like deep sea fishing to eat them. I'm not cool. I don't really want to catch and throw them because I do feel bad. I'm like, let me just put this hole in your cheek and throw you back. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you, but I'm
still
gonna do it.
Fishing is fun.
I'm still gonna do it. I just feel like I feel like they need to design like dissolvable fishing line and like hooks. I think they might have.
Yeah, but what if they do feel that pain? It's just like,
of
fishing
course
is
they're
fun.
gonna feel the
Let's just
pain.
go stab all these fish up in the cheeks and throw them back. Like, it's fine.
It is.
Just get you a dirt bike, man.
It's like hunting. It's like a victory.
That's one thing, bro. Even though now
it's like a sense of accomplishment. That's why people do it.
Well, that and also like it brings you back to, aside from the fruit, healthy, proper eating, the primal hunting and the primal feeling of being in tune with your food, chasing it down, getting it, knowing that. Just like I felt with that roach, but with an animal of that nature, being like, you're grateful that the animal is feeding you and your family, and that's the one thing I wish. Like, I don't eat a ton of meat now. Like, I just started dabbling a little bit more in meat after a big break, but I'm trying to back off still now, and that's one.
That
thing.
was that sniffle. You eating meat,
and I just thinking about how I never got to hunt. I bought a bow and arrow, like an archery bow.
He's trash. No, I'm just kidding.
You still got it?
Bro, we could do a whole camera show after this for fill-in footage, and we can go do a competition right now. I'll beat both of y'all.
I forgot you had that.
I am good at it.
I shot it through the fence, through a privacy fence.
Was that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. He shot it. He missed the bag, and it literally half the arrow went through the fence. And these are practice. These are field tips. These aren't even like razor tips.
Like how I go through a privacy fence.
I just imagine somebody chilling on the other side, and then it just like, oh shit. No, but I got that, and that's the one thing I wanted to experience was actually going to hunt. And not that I want to kill. But like I know that's a part of it. But I if I'm going to eat the meat, which I'm probably going to, I want to know that I did what had to be done versus just I don't want to see what's going to happen. And I know that if you're gonna eat meat, it's cleaner to eat meat that way.
Yeah, it's like when you're killing it for a certain reason to use the resources to recycle it within the natural world,
right?
As opposed to just manufacturing it on an industrial level.
Yeah,
that's where we've gone to. But like in like the movie Avatar. You've both seen the Avatar. It would be crazy if you didn't. But when the soldier is like ends up having the girl helps him out and ends up killing all the animals that were trying to attack him, and she was blaming it on him, and she's like killing him like silently. But like they had to do what they had to do to protect to live,
right?
But they didn't want to do that because now you're ending another life unnecessarily,
like the roach.
Yeah. Unnecessarily, because
Yeah.
if you were killing them to eat them, and then doing a clean kill, which I would consider a clean kill is like untorturous,
right?
Not like
That's
the way
thing.
the industrial system does, where they're like hanging cows and they're just going around the warehouse and they're all seeing all their friends getting slaughtered, cut in half,
and
alive.
you know what you're there for.
Like-
It's like some horrible scene,
Bro.
and that's another thing too. Like the deer. Let's say I'm hunting a deer. That deer is like living his peaceful life, doing his thing. And if it's for food, then that guy had no idea what's coming. Boom, it was over instantly. Hopefully, if it's a clean shot, and that's it. You do your prayer, whatever you want to do, and make peace with it, and then you live.
There's go ahead. Well, no, there's a place that I was gonna say we should go to. It's called Florida Outdoors Adventure, and the reason why I know is because it was similar to when I was thinking of names for True Florida Experience. I was like, what is this place? So you literally stay in a cabin and you go out there and hunt turkey, and they have all these turkeys and stuff. They have their own land and stuff, and you go out there and hunt the turkey, and then they cook it and you eat it.
Oh, that sounds cool.
And I was like, damn, that's pretty
That sounds
dope.
And I met one of my new clients.
Besides
he told
the
me,
fact that meat's not good for you, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of my new clients. Well, that's the good thing that we talk about too, though, because a lot of people they'll hear all the fruit talk and shit, and then be like, "Oh, these guys are hypocrites," and it's like, nah. I mean, you could say that if you want, but it's more of an understanding of everything,
Yeah.
I have a client who told me a new one, and he told me that he goes hunting, and I got hyped because I've been wanting to go for a while, and I could go by myself, and learn everything on my own. But it would be nice if you just go with someone who's been hunting several times and kind of knows, because then you could just learn way quicker.
Yeah,
and
It's a better experience too.
Yeah, so I was hyped to hear that when he said it, and I'm like, damn, bro, it's gonna be dope to be able to go hunting for real and like see what that's like. But we'll see if it happens.
Yeah.
But I know in general, I just feel like it would be much better if people understood that versus people who eat all this meat, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to kill it, or I don't. Oh, that's what I was gonna say is I have another guy who used to come to me. He works at in Eustis. I think it's Eustis, Florida here, which is like an hour away, 40 minutes between here and Orlando. And they have a slaughterhouse over there. They don't call it that anymore. Forgot what he said they call it.
Environmental house?
I think he called it like a processing plant or something. They're not. They don't say slaughterhouse anymore.
Wow.
And it's
they
wild.
don't want to offend anybody. Just torture.
He tells
animals.
me he tells me stories all the time because he's a person who's worked there longer than anybody that works there. And he's like, they don't allow any phones in there because they don't want anybody seeing what actually happens. He's in there freezing all day. He's like, there's blood everywhere all the time. He's like, it's the most rancid, disgusting smell.
Oh yeah.
And he doesn't eat. It's a cow slaughterhouse, beef slaughterhouse. So he doesn't eat beef anymore because he works there.
Yeah.
Now he will still have some chicken and turkey or whatever because he doesn't see that. But he's in the house every day, and he'll walk by the grocery store, and he's like, bro, it's disgusting. It makes me want to throw up. He said, I see the meat and I smell it. and I see how they treat the meat and what happens in there.
Do you remember what exactly he said that happens in there?
No, he didn't give me like a specific story, but he just said in general, just like the handling of it all, the energy, like everything. You know what I mean? He said it's just bad to where he doesn't. And I could just imagine. I'd way rather, if I was gonna eat meat, not buy any meat from those type of places.
Yeah.
If I knew I could do it or knew how, to just hunt my meat.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I hear guys like when Joe Rogan talks about it and shit, and I'm just like, it must be awesome to have just
that
enough
option.
money, enough money to know that you don't have to have any store bought meat.
Yep.
You can actually go hunt your own meat.
Yeah.
And I did slaughter. I say slaughter.
I mean, if you were to eat meat, that would be the best way to do it, at least.
Exactly. And I actually killed a pig once at a farm. So Christmas, you remember Mueller?
Yeah.
The big dude I used to chill with in the military? He took me to West Virginia. He's from West Virginia. It was right after we got back from Afghanistan and I couldn't make it home for Christmas. So he took me to his parents' farm in West Virginia, which is super dope, by the way. Mad open. I have a bunch of pictures and stuff. And for that Christmas dinner, they wanted to eat a pig that they had on the farm. And somebody had to take it. So I was like, I'll do it. Like, it's funny because Mueller was like, I'm definitely not doing it. Like, hell no. Like, he's not into that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll do it. And so I experienced it, you know, and I went, and it didn't feel like it wasn't hunting because it was a pig on a farm. But I went up.
You're scum.
I shot. I felt like, you know, I was gonna be a guest.
What did you? Well, go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna like break it down. But I kind of felt like, you know, I was gonna be a guest here for dinner, and we were all gonna eat, and somebody had to do it, and I felt like the least I could do was be the one to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were all like,
justify your murder,
especially with it
was
being
gonna happen.
their pig. You know, they probably felt some type of way.
And I could tell that they appreciated it. You know what I mean? Like they thought it was interesting because they definitely didn't think I would do it. And I could tell that they kind of appreciated it, that I would be involved that way. You know. So they took me out there. His father-in-law or stepfather, whatever, took me out with his brother or cousin, and we went out to the pig thing. And I'm kind of nerd. They gave me a revolver. It's funny too. It was his wife's. It was a pink revolver. So they gave me the revolver.
Fits you perfectly.
I got it in the pictures.
Oh, pink.
Yeah, bro. And I got the pink revolver, and we went in the pen, and you know they're running around, and I'm kind of starting to feel a little bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit. But then I'm like, hey, we gotta eat. You know what I'm saying? So we went out. This is long before I knew anything about fruits anyway. Not that would change it, but so I went there, and the pig was right there, and he was like, all right, this is where you want to hit it, like to get a nice, clean, quick shot. So I did it, and it was like if the pig is under you, it was like right behind his ear. You know what I mean? Like kind of diagonal behind his ear, pop. And I just held it right there, and he was right here next to me, and I was like, pop. And I did. As soon as I did it, all the other pigs started running, and instantly that pig started screeching, like super, just like that, but super high pitched.
So you didn't do a clean kill?
No, well, I think it's more like nervous system shit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I did. He started, and then the dad went and cut the throat to bleed it out, so it would like be done. And then which the screeching hit me, bro.
Yeah, I bet.
Trust me, I have.
Because the sound, and then also the seizures, right? Because the pig started, you know what I'm saying, going crazy. It felt bad, bro. But like that's kind of what you have to figure, like you have to feel that. Yeah. Because when you're eating an animal,
eat it.
That's what you're you know what I mean? Like you know, like when an animal comes, if a lion comes up and bites your leg off, like he's gonna see what you react like. You know what I'm saying? And it's a tough thing to do.
Some of those lion buffets they have are pretty gruesome too.
Yeah, bro, that's what I mean, bro. And you get
like half alive, intestines hanging out, everything like that.
And they're still struggling,
eating, still trying to live.
And so that was a feeling I had to go through, and I did, and I will never forget it. It wasn't hunting, like I said. That's a different experience. But it was still something I'm grateful for that I got to experience, you know. And then to see the process of actually like the whole process, because they attached it to they hung it upside down so it could bleed all the blood out, cut it open. We started skinning it, which was just a wild feeling, you know, to be cleaning an animal that was 2 seconds ago was by your foot alive, and skinning it and seeing the meat and the fat and everything, and they're like, they're showing me everything and touching it, and it's cold as hell too.
Yeah.
And it's what? What?
I was just thinking about how we just started talking about fruits intensely, and now we're talking about eating meat and slaughtering.
It's in full circle, bro. It's a whole picture. So, like for Flash, fruits only. Then I pulled the skin off and the fat and the blubber. No, and then seeing it go into the box. Like now by the time we were done and it was in the box, it looks like food. Like when you go to the store and you go buy a giant piece of, now it looks like that. And when we go to the store and we see that, we don't associate it with a living creature. And it's different when it was just alive next to you, and now it looks like food.
Yeah, and that goes with the connection of the natural world,
right?
Too, that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you're connecting with them, and then you'll understand it. You'll just understand it if you go through it yourself.
And you appreciate it so much more, bro. You feel that.
Man, it was one time I had a BB gun growing up, right? And I had like, I want to kill a bird. I want to kill something. Like, I got a BB gun. That's what I do. I shoot birds, right? But it was this one time, like, we was outside playing. I had to have been less than 14, maybe around 10 to 11, somewhere around there. And like, put the BB guns down. We was looking around for birds. None was showing up. Whatever. We put the BB guns down, playing basketball. Next thing you know, there's a bird over there. Like, oh man, I'm gonna get it. If I can get my gun, and I shoot it, and as soon as I hit it, it was instant regret,
bro.
I hit it, and it's flapping around on the ground. I'm like, oh shit. I didn't know. I thought it was just gonna be it hit and it just died. Then it really happened. Like, oh damn, I felt terrible.
Yeah.
You were like, terrible. I was like, I'm never doing that again.
That's like the first time I had a BB gun. I did the same thing, but it was a squirrel.
Yeah.
And you remember that block I grew up on, that cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
It was across the street at one of my neighbor's houses. It was in his tree, right? There was nobody out here at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna go hunting. I got my BB gun. I'm like 10, 11 or some shit, and I'm gonna go hunt. And I saw the squirrel in the tree. And it's like if the squirrel was like right on top of the gray ridge right there, it was like that high. And I got my little scope on my BB gun, pumped it, shot it, boom, it falls out of the tree. And then it starts convulsing and doing that crazy shit. So I go up and I try to end it. You know what I mean?
This guy has some cruel stories.
Yeah.
He's like,
fuck out of here.
His stories always end with, I didn't want to do it. And he just keeps going.
This hurts you more than it hurts me.
No, this episode is everything Philby's killed. So I did the same thing, and when it started going crazy like the bird you said, I pumped it up with a few more rounds.
Yeah.
And then it finally died.
Not even one, just like boom. Boom, boom.
Yeah. No, I gave it probably like 6 more.
For real?
And because it was a big squirrel, bro.
Oh my goodness.
And it was a BB gun, And I finally killed it, and it was in front of my neighbor's driveway. It was on his lawn, but like right next to the driveway. And I didn't kill it to eat it.
Yeah.
I just killed it. And but like you said, as soon as that happened, I felt terrible, and I ran back home, and I never said anything to anybody. And like a day later, or that day, the dad, who was a stepdad to the kid who lived there, came over across the street, knocking on the door, right? And I'm sitting in the living room chilling, and I hear him, and I'm not at the door, but I hear my dad, and I hear them talking, and he's like, yeah, I don't know, you know anything about this squirrel? You know, like you could have a BB gun or something, or da-da-da-da? And I'm just sitting there like, I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. And then my dad looks over, he's like, you know anything about this? And I'm like, nah, I don't know. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And I'm like, I lied my ass off, bro. And he's just like, he says no. And I'm just like, you tell him, Pops. You tell him I didn't do it. And then you could tell the neighbor was kind of like, this little motherfucker killed this squirrel. I know it. But I know that I did it. And I feel like I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks, bro, after that. Yeah. I felt so bad. And I think those are part of those experiences you got to learn. Because imagine how many
you wouldn't
people
know the other side of it. Without, I mean, some people can do it without actually having to go through torturous stuff like you. Torturous massacres.
Think about how many people have probably been in that experience but not felt bad, like sociopaths, psychopaths, you know what I mean? And that never said anything about it, and they're just like, wonder what I'm gonna try next. I think I'll kill you. You know what I mean? Like random shit.
That's true.
And then that gets dark
quick,
bro.
That's true.
But
yeah.
Hey, man. It was a pleasure having you on, man.
For sure, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
I've been trying to get you guys together for other than that time we went to his house. I've been trying to get y'all together for the longest, bro. Nah, for real though, because I knew that we would click with the conversations, but you're always doing one thing, and you're in Tampa, and he doesn't remember the day we went to his house to play poker for his dad's retirement thing.
I don't remember playing poker.
Well, no,
I just remember his dad's retirement.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
that messes up my follow-up question, because I was going to say he doesn't remember that I won poker that day. I beat
do
everybody
remember.
there.
I was just talking shit.
Oh, okay.
To not give you any credit.
Good.
I did drive myself. I probably left before y'all started playing poker.
You drove?
something.
Oh, you did.
I drove
drive
that day. Yeah.
Well, we got to do it again, bro. We got to do
man.
something outdoors. There's so much stuff we got to do now.
For sure.
Yeah, bro.
You
For
might be
sure.
a part of the human being squad, bro. You got
Let's
to
go.
see what's up.
Let's go. New IT guy. What's
IT
up?
work. You can work under Jeremy.
Yeah, let's go.
Hell yeah, bro. But for real, we appreciate you coming, bro.
Yeah,
It's
man,
fun, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Good.
man.
Thanks
All
for
right.
having me, guys.
That's it.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.